What's going on, guys? Happy Tuesday, and we got a long week ahead of us, right? And we got to really appreciate the long weeks and the long days because in the adult life, man, as we all know, and we're all a testament to this. A lot of the time, it starts to fly by. I don't know exactly why the days seem shorter than when we were kids. Maybe it's the fact that as kids and enrolling in school, we had a winter break, a spring break, and a summer break. But as an adult, unless you're working more than 5 days out of the week, which many of us are, we usually have 2 days off, right? Most people have Saturdays and Sundays. You multiply that by 4 weeks in a month, you got 8 days off. And you multiply that by 12 months, you got 96 days off out of the whole year, which is essentially like, close to 1/3. But it doesn't feel like that. But I do really appreciate the grind and the long days because even though sometimes it gets stressful throughout the week to persevere, it lets us know that we're trying to get shit done. And getting things done, it feels really good, right? And at least on my end, I don't have the right to remain idle. I got to get things done. And it's going to be a long week, but we'll go push through it together. And with that being said, let's talk some boxing, man. Gotta love when warp speed interrupts the chat, man. Yes, sir. All right, dude. Get out of here. Yo, what's going on, Vince? Pink eye. Yes, sir, man. He suffered an uppercut to the eye, and he got hit extremely hard, and there's blood and a gash on his eye. And the fight is postponed to May 18th, 2024. And to be honest with you, I got to give Tyson Fury a lot of credit because I guess you can say it's a relatively quick turnaround in terms of his exhibition fight that he suffered a defeat at the hands of Francis Ngannou, right? He fought him late October 28th or so, and then November, December, January, and then boom, February. And I was very skeptical about this fight happening because I just didn't really see a buildup. I didn't see a world tour. I didn't see a face-off. There wasn't really any promotion behind this fight. And the reason behind that is because Saudi Arabia is not playing by the traditional rules of building a super fight, of building a mega fight, right? They're just throwing money, not at the sport. They're just throwing money at the fighters, trying to secure the best fights that promoters and managers have built up over the years simply because they have the money to do so. And as a spoiled, pious boxing fan, I don't really like that, right? I'm like things based on a supply and demand curve, and I actually want to be a part of this fight in terms of, let's say, attending the fight, right? As we know, Saudi Arabia, they don't really care about the common folk, the average Joe. They want the 1% to attend it, right? And for the majority of the time, the 1% aren't really avid boxing fans, like the diehards like us. Anyway, so Tyson Fury, they have pink eye. Warp speed, whenever he chimes in, he'll let you know what the name of the sparring partner was that gave him this uppercut to the eyebrow and basically postponed and gave Tyson Fury a penalty of $10 million for, withdrawing from the fight. And when the fight does finally happen, Alexander Usyk, as smart as he is, will continue to target that eye and that side of his face. At least from the pictures right here, looks like it's going to be on Tyson Fury's right side of the face. And when you fight a lefty, it's usually the right side of your face that suffers the most damage. So it's going to be very interesting. I don't know how long a cut of this nature, after stitching, when is it properly healed? It just feels even then that it's a little too sudden, right? Because if they're supposed to fight early, May 18th, or I guess that's middle of, that month, and he suffered this, early February, 3 months. It might be more than enough time. I'm not exactly too sure. Right? I've never suffered a cut that big. I've suffered fractured fingers, collarbones, dislocated fingers and cuts, but never one on the eyebrow. So it's going to be very interesting to see if it's going to be enough time to Tyson Fury to feel comfortable taking punches there. And that's another situation. 3 months essentially with Tyson Fury being unable to spar. Again, maybe it takes a month for a cut like this, of this nature, on the eyebrow with soft tissue to fully heal. But you really want to give it at least 2 months, 60 days to kind of become formidable. Again, how tough is Tyson Fury going to have in terms of sparring? Right? It looks like he's just going to be focusing all on conditioning and letting his face heal. Obviously, probably taking body punches. But as we know, Alexander Usyk is not a prolific body puncher. In fact, most heavyweights really aren't body punchers, nor do they target the body because, you go low, you leave yourself open for up top shots, and boom. But if we know anything, maybe Alexander Usyk is a little soft to the body. In the amateurs, Artur Beterbiev dropped him with a body shot. And you can also say maybe Daniel Dubois dropped him. But yeah, man, he suffered pink eye. It's pretty brutal. And as we know, Alexander Usyk, when the fight does happen on May 18th, he's going to continue to focus on that. I don't want to repeat past videos and try to put it into this one, but I think for the nature of the video, I think it's pretty important to discuss it. And I want to ask, before we start the discussion, man, I just want to pose a few questions. I want to know your guys' take. If you guys think that Saudi Arabia throwing money at the sport or throwing money at the fights, like Artur Beterbiev and Bivol, Alexander Usyk and company, Devin Haney versus Tank Davis, throwing money at those fighters, if that's good for the sport of boxing. I think one of the things that the sport of boxing has always succeeded is on press conferences, a world tour. When Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather went to Canada, went to New York, went to California, went to the UK, and had a world tour, man, you saw how many people showed up and showed out. We didn't get that for this historical moment between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk, which this type of fight of this magnitude, with the history, especially in the four-belt era, that's exactly what it needs. It needs the average Joes, the avid fans, the UK fans, the American fans, the Eastern European fans to tune in. Saudi Arabia is stripping us of that privilege where fans do show up in these magnificent matchups. Now, maybe they'll learn and maybe they'll have more than enough time to do so, but I got to question a lot of their intent. I guess I've already spoke about this in the past, but I'm not really interested, or do I really care of them building resorts and trying to have their own Las Vegas in Saudi Arabia. It's good and dandy for you guys, but for the diehard fans, we're not going to be able to sit ringside or in attendance of a fight that could happen in London, could happen, I don't know, in Thrilla and Manila type of venues, and it's going to be all exclusive to the 1%. Maybe I'm overthinking this situation and be like, man, shut your ass up and be grateful for the fact that the fight's happening in the first place. Maybe I should look at it like that and be more optimistic, but we'll see. Tyson Fury says when this cut happened, can't help getting injured in sparring, but what can I say? Usyk was in trouble, and I'm in a fantastic shape. I will reschedule as soon as I can. 2024, a massive year for Team GK, the Gypsy King. Hashtag undisputed. Hashtag WBC King. Look, man, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. You know how I love being honest. I'm not a big fan of Tyson Fury. I don't really think he has. I guess he's a good showman. I think he speaks better than what his fights actually are. I think he's overall a boring heavyweight. But I will applaud this man because he was supposed to be a cherry pick and a tune-up for Deontay Wilder. Just to give you guys a little context, Tyson Fury had been removed from the sport about 2 to 3 years and was essentially walking close to 400 pounds. And Deontay Wilder not able to secure an Anthony Joshua fight. I don't care if it was Shelly Finkel's fault or Edward Hearn's fault, but the fact was that Deontay Wilder called out Tyson Fury and told the Fat Warriors, I think that was one of the words that he used, to come out of retirement, get in shape, and this fight. And Tyson Fury did. And Tyson Fury lost, I don't know, maybe like north of 130 pounds. And he went 12 rounds on a very fun fight with Deontay Wilder, and then eventually he ended up giving us a trilogy. And those fights have so much replay value, very entertaining. The first fight, as we all know, Tyson Fury was outboxing Deontay Wilder, and then the knockdowns started to come, making it a very interesting and close fight. The second fight, Tyson goes to the Crunk Gym, gets Sugar Hill, departs from his slick trainer, and he utterly destroys Deontay Wilder. Walks him up with a high guard, stalks him, walks him down, body shots, head shots, punches behind the head, slapping him. Bro, just manhandled, the Bambi legs of Deontay Wilder, something I've never seen before. That was shocking. It was shocking in the manner of how I think he might have scored 3 knockdowns and then slept them. Insane. What's even much more insane, what happened after the fact. The conspiracies, man. It's a conspiracy, man. If anybody knows that reference, it's from an amazing Disney Pixar film. What was I saying? Yeah, so Tyson Fury gave us an amazing trilogy, and ever since he teamed up with Sugar Hill, man, he's really sat down on his punches and started, getting the knockdowns and knockouts. But overall, I've never really been a big fan of Tyson Fury. I feel like there's a whole lot of things. This guy is very clever, right? Kind of like Teofimo Lopez. They really love to manipulate the media. They really fight at their own post. You can't really tell them what to do. Essentially, they're bigger than the sport of boxing themselves in terms of regulations, sanctioning bodies, UK commissions. You're not going to tell these fighters what to do. They can retire at any moment that they want. You can impose mandatories all they want. It's not going to happen. They beat on their own drum. And Tyson Fury, like Teofimo Lopez, it doesn't really matter what I say. These dudes are winners in life, and they always come through. Now, when he gets to fight Alexander Usyk, I got Usyk beating him just because I feel like Tyson Fury doesn't do good against southpaws. On top of it, he doesn't do against southpaws. He hasn't really fought an athletic fighter in a fighter like Usyk that throws a lot of punches and is actually a 12-round fighter, right? And has the experience. Like, Usyk has fought multiple guys of that nature, whether it was at cruiserweight or guys like Anthony Joshua. Tyson Fury hasn't really fought an amazing boxer in his career, right? Maybe you can say Klitschko. I can give you that, but look how boring it was. I mean, it was a whole lot of grappling, a couple of punches here and there, and it was the most boringest fight. I think to this day, nobody talks about that fight. Nobody. All right. And you guys, if you watch it, you guys would fall asleep because that's how boring it is. I guess Warp Speed isn't here just yet. Oh, what's up, Drew? Yo, Drew, mic check real quick, brother. Can you hear me?
Yo, what's up, man? You quick, man. That was quick. Usually you're a lot slower, but man, that was quick. What's
Yes,
up, man?
sir. No, it's because when I have my screen mirrored, right, I can't go back to this. I have to go back to it, and sometimes I forget, So I'll just be cooking, or I'll just be rambling off the topic, not really saying anything important. But all of a sudden, I just caught you on the right time. Larry Liston, salute to you, my friend. Egis Klima said this: the fact is that you cannot trust this video, and the video itself does not prove anything. You know what? I want to highlight that because I agree.
Wow, I thought you were in agreement with with me, Rick. I thought you're pretty much trying to just give him the benefit of the doubt.
Look, anything involved or around Tyson Fury, I cannot give him the benefit of the doubt, man. This
No?
dude is very unscrupulous. Okay. And what I mean by that is this man has no morals. I guess if I can say that, when it comes down to the sport of boxing, he's willing to do everything and anything to be victorious, right? He's willing to cross those lines to get the job done. Now, at
Okay,
the end of the day, there's that saying: if you're not cheating, you're not trying to win. But I really do appreciate the clean fighter, right? I really
okay.
appreciate the clean. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
How is he trying to get an advantage over Usyk?
Okay, so in terms of this postponement or just overall?
It's overall.
Well, I'll say this: he didn't look good in his last fight against Francis Ngannou, right? And one of the things is that Tyson Fury or is being leaked is that, and he says it right here in this comment, is I'm in fantastic shape. I feel that Tyson Fury, right, is just focusing on being in shape and losing maybe a little too much weight. And I believe that he needs a little more time and preparation for Alexander Usyk. I also feel that based on his last recent performance, he realized that he needs to work on a better strategy than simply just trying to lean on a person and using my massive size over them to tire them out. That's not going to happen with Alexander Usyk. So I feel like he needs a little more time, not only to get much more in shape, but be durable and focus on a better game plan. And if this cut is true, I don't know about you, man, but in this day of age, this picture right here that's cropped, you couldn't tell somebody, the photographer couldn't tell, hey, Fury, stay still, man. Let me get this picture at like 4K quality. This shit looks like 720p. And that little cut right there, it kind of looks Photoshop. I can literally go, I can literally go to a simple editing program and just put it there. Like I can literally do that. It's super simple. It looks freaking fictitious.
Yeah,
Now,
but
now,
this
now,
is the
I'm
thing.
not saying that
Go
it's
ahead.
false, right? But what I am saying is we really got to question this. And the sparring footage, bro, what kind of resolution? Hold on. Look at this resolution, bro. Look at the resolution and quality of that video. Bro, that looks like, I don't know, what is this? Let me see. That looks
Maybe
420, bro. That looks 144p, dog.
maybe it's sent though. Like, you know how you send pictures to me, and I'm like, dude, this is horrible. Like, like this is horrible quality that you're sending me.
But
Maybe it's that
but
type of stuff.
no, that's actually true, but that's usually because it's Apple to Samsung or Samsung to Apple crossover. This is ridiculous, bro. Look at this footage. That shit looks
It's
nasty and blurry. In this day and age, when you're banging out with these millionaires, right? Bro, they should probably have a Canon 5D Mark IV camera. They should have a Blackmagic Cinema camera. They should have a Red camera recording this, bro. This is insane. Look at the quality, bro. I can't put this in no, going based on body language, like you can hear the screaming and the agitation, and it's like fuck. He notices that
yeah,
he's gassed up. He feels that probably blood is dripping.
exactly.
But we just got to put a lot of things into question when you're dealing with Tyson Fury.
But
This is the same guy that, look, allegedly, all right, he failed drug tests. He failed multiple drug tests on the rematch with Klitschko, right?
mm,
He's got his license suspended, and then he basically pled that he was on drugs and he was depressed and bipolar, and that the Zionists were coming after him because he was trying to, impose into the world, the Christian gospel, right? He was saying like, man, they're after me, and he basically fled the country because they were trying to tarnish his reputation because he was a man of faith and he was just basically spewing his views and he was against homosexuality and all of these things. So this guy pled, you know, and did everything in the power that he can just to get out of the Klitschko fight. Now, I'm not saying this is true. I said allegedly, but that's pretty much more or less what happened. So again, these are the dirty works that Tyson Fury is willing to
but
do just to
okay,
get an upper hand on every single situation that has happened.
okay,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
so this is my argument. Like, bro, don't you think there's better ways to pull out of a fight, rather than signing up to, to get a cut over the eye. Regardless if it's like, say it is like Photoshop, like why would he want to do all that, like to go just to get a postponement, like there's way better things to lie about than to actually lie about a cut that you have to prove to the media that you have it. And especially since he's coming out with stitches and all this stuff. Now I can also see where he's actually kind of like not giving a fuck and actually putting his face all over his opponent and kind of being reckless. I could kind of see that, but I mean, and kind of purposely, like just rubbing his face just to hope for a cut, maybe, but I don't know. You can't really, say that, but you can't really fake that either.
Yeah,
You
no,
can't
I
really.
agree. See, and if you were to tell me, let's say Alexander Usyk suffered a cut, right? I would believe you. I wouldn't even doubt the nature of the information. I wouldn't doubt Igis Klimas because they have a track record of being honest and have morals and have integrity, right?
Mhm.
But when it comes down to Tyson Fury, this is essentially, let's say he did suffer this cut, and most likely he did. I'm going to say 70-30, but
Okay.
I'm going to lean on the 30 side. This is the
Hmm.
type of nature in terms of a conspiracy, in terms of the
Hmm.
manipulation that over the years he's
I
basically spewed out that I have to question it. You see, if this was Manny Pacquiao, I would be like, you know what, dude? I respect Manny Pacquiao. He's never really told a lie. He's never really pulled out of fights, things of this nature. He's a clean fighter, X, Y, and Z. I believe him, and most fans would. But Tyson Fury, like other fighters, they really are play these manipulative games, and you can say, he's essentially manipulated me to the point where I don't believe him. I don't really believe anything he shows me. I don't really believe anything he says because in the past he flip-flops a lot, right? Now, his wife Paris and Tyson in multiple interviews, they've said that, Tyson Fury does have these mood swings and things of that nature, but that even reinforces my point of why, I can't believe the information that he leaks out. Yo, Warp Speed, might check real quick just to make sure we're not excluding you, brother.
1 2 1 2.
All right, perfect, perfect. Let me read some of these comments real quick. All righty, Vince Vargas goes, pink eye. Yeah, man, I think I read that one. Larry Listen goes, exactly, Ricky. You can't trust Fury. The guy has already retired like 6 times. As a fighter at his best, as a fighter. At his best, I'm a big giant fan of his, but he is a notorious liar, which is easily proven. Further goes on to state a few more times. I believe Fury will beat Usyk, might be close 8-4, 7-5, but he will beat him and it will go down in history. Oh. Also, he made sure that Usyk isn't peaking at the right time by pulling out, disrupting his camp, especially considering the many miles on Usyk is without a doubt an advantage for Fury. Very interesting point. Where is the blood on the white headgear and gloves? Why does the footage stop when he puts his glove to the eye? Pinkay, Pinkay. Schlosker the Destroyer says Pinkay. So I guess for pink eye. Yeah, so he basically
No.
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 Ricky, you like
So
what
no,
he
no,
said
no.
about?
He's been Pink Eye. His name is Pink Eye. It's
Okay.
Lafitte Pink Eye was a very famous horse jockey who is most famous for having, I think, in World War II or something to that effect, having rode the Secretariat horse uh,
The
during
Secretariat.
the Kentucky Derby and winning all three of those mega races. Pink Eye. So when you said Pink Eye,
Oh, he said,
he's
okay,
talking
got
about
you.
that horse jockey, Pink Eye.
Nice, man. I don't really know too much about those, but I love Seabiscuit. I love that film. I thought it was fantastic. Larry
Yeah.
Listen goes, Ricky, I commend you, brother. You have a true eye for detail and a true boxing mind. Man, I appreciate it, man. Honestly, when I just got on here, I just, say a lot of blasphemy, but I try my best, man. I try my best. Let's see. It had to be the eye. It had to be something that was viable for the public. A hand injury wouldn't be believed.
Hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, look, man, that kind of answers a little bit of Drew's question, like why would it be his eye? Why couldn't it be something else? And I look, I want to believe Tyson Fury,
I don't
right?
want to believe him.
But I want to believe him because I feel that If the rumors are true, there is a 10 million penalty. Tyson Fury loves this money. He's a prize fighter. That's the only reason that he fights in boxing, because of the money, right? Just like most of these fighters will. As he said before, belts, accumulate dust, and the belts don't define me. I don't really care for undisputed. He's on record saying these things.
He's
But when it
smart.
comes down to the money, oh boy, will he just pretty much bend over backwards and, show
Yeah,
you
he's smart.
yoga poses. But anyway, Fury said that there was a doctor's report, right? Where is that report? Why is there no exact link or details surrounding that report? Many people took days off the work to see this fight, paid for tickets and travel expenses. They deserve to see the doctor's report. Drew goes, the public isn't allowed to see the information. A HIPAA violation.
Yeah,
Interesting.
well,
It was only the judge and the refs that couldn't see that stuff.
yeah. Well, the thing is, homie Ricky and Drew, and good even fall to one and all, Mr. Vince Vargas. Good even fall to you, and of course to you, Mr. Larry Liston. Good even fall, and thank you very much for hopping on these lives. Schlosker the Destroyer, likewise to you, Pink Eye. Um, but the thing is this: there there really is no medical reports that I recall that are just presented to the public for scrutiny. You know, the only time that we are privileged to any of this information regarding the medical situations of these fighters post or pre-fight is because they willingly reveal that information, right? Like, for example, we knew that Terence Crawford had some type of injury to his
But
eyeballs when he
is
revealed it,
it
when he showed his
does it
pictures.
change? Does it change if it's in Europe?
No, no. HIPAA is just goes by another name over there, and I forget what it is
Yeah,
because I've had to do
it's
that kind of testing, as you know, as part of my
yeah,
yearly compliance with federal
but
government because of the type of contracts that I have.
it's universal though, right? Like
The
the
notion
notion
that
that
you are privileged to your personal
yeah,
confidential health related information, of course, that
yeah,
is
that's what I meant.
that is a right conferred to you that no one else has a right to violate nor divulge. No one else
Yeah,
will have that information. Now, of course, I'm sure, Drew, that
for
there's
sure,
other
it's
countries that
universal.
don't necessarily abide by those kind of standards,
Probably the
but in the
communist
case,
countries.
yeah, the communist countries, yeah, but no, for the most part, whenever we find out of an injury, it's because these fighters who actually value the opinions of the fans, they willingly come forth and reveal that information. But I've never had Errol Spence come out and say, here guys, boom, let me read to you my medical record, and this is what it states, and this is what the doctor says. They're gonna hold on to their rights. They're gonna hold on to the information. They will reveal, maybe through photographic evidence or whatnot, to the extent of their injuries, so that we do not discredit them or consider them fibbers and liars. In the case of Luke Tyson Fury, I don't think he cares a bit. So I don't really value the words of a Luke Tyson Fury for the same reasons that Mr. Larry Liston and homie Ricky are saying. But here's who I do believe. I do believe Turkey Ali Sheik. I do believe the sparring partner of Luke Fury, who uh, was the one who caused that re-injury about the brow of Tyson Fury's right eye, Agron Smakisi, the the sparring partner that just came out in today in a live, I think being interviewed by IFL, basically saying how it all transpired. Now, look, I made a video about 2 3 months back uh, where I basically said that the most influential boxer, the most powerful individual in the sport of boxing is Luke Tyson Fury. I said that everything that that man touches, the way that he moves, he corrupts. I gave examples, went on a 2 or 3 hour live, just giving examples of the many ways that that man has manipulated the sport and the fan base, the sanctioning bodies, and done everything. And all of these people cater to this individual, right? So I won't say that he is. not convincing or conniving enough to, maybe get somebody like Akron Smakisi to basically say, yeah, I cut him, right, on a sparring session. But here's the thing, guys. Do you think uh, uh, a a billionaire, an influential advisor for Mohammed bin Salman, the princeling of Saudi Arabia, he would come out and lie, cap. If you don't mind me using that word, as the young kids would say, he would cap after having spent a lot of money and time promoting the biggest fight in boxing's history. Do you guys think Turkey Al Sheikh would be sitting adjacent to Tyson Luke Tyson Fury on a live broadcast with Tyson Fury with stitches on his brow, basically saying, "We have cameras and people monitoring these fights, these sparring sessions. This injury did happen. I put my word on it," he said, "and I'm just here to say this injury happened. It delayed these plans. But if you guys don't believe Tyson Fury, okay, that's fine. I don't believe him either. But I do believe the sparring partner that came out and doesn't have no need to care for the guy. And I especially believe Turkey Al Sheikh."
Yeah, no, I don't know, like, I guess he can like release that information and say, hey, like, this is what happened, guys. Look, and then just kind of like just kind of in a sense shut us all up. Um, it is up to him to like release that information, but I mean, how can you argue like the video of his stitches? I guess you can fake that too. I guess like if you're a fucking makeup artist, you can really like fake that out, and they do it for Halloween every year. I guess you can fake it out, but yeah, no, it looks like when they showed the cut, it looks like a cut that got cleaned up,
Yeah.
and I mean, I've seen cuts like when I was like, like doing the patient reports at the hospital, like I would see cuts like that, and I would just see like red and no blood come out, like some big ass gashes. Like I kind of seen that type of shit, but I mean, I can't really argue it, like what I'm seeing like so far, but what like I guess yeah, he can show the report, but I mean, shit, it kind of shows more than just the cut. Like I think it shows like the vitals, like I don't know. Like I wouldn't really care like to show any of that information. I would just be like, yeah, look here you go, guys. If I was like Tyson, I'd be like, look, shut up now, because I'm pretty sure he's getting some type of heat. Like I didn't know that he was a good liar, honestly.
He's the best liar.
Yeah, I didn't know he was like a good liar though.
Who,
Like what?
Fury?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't know about his past.
Oh wow,
Let me ask you
Yeah,
yeah,
guys.
no,
he's
y'all gotta
notorious.
y'all gotta educate me. So
So,
that's probably why it's correlating with the opinion that I have
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, no, you're definitely
behind.
a unique individual that has not yet formulated a either favorable or a disfavorable opinion of the man, because there really is two camps, Drew, when it comes to Luke, Tyson Fury. There's the guys that are the biggest fans in the world for that guy, and I've never been able to understand that. I mean, I find him to be an exciting fighter, but I mean, I've
Fighting?
always cheered on against him because I find him to be a despicable individual. And then there's those kind of people like me who find him to be a despicable individual and always root for him. But there's never a lukewarm guy who's just like, Duke Fury, yeah, he's all right. I like him. I hate him. No, no, no. There's people that love him, and then there's people that hate him. And if you just read any comments on any given uh, the episode of any kind of boxing broadcaster who's just addressing the issue of Luke Tyson Fury or anything around him, you'll see that everybody's divided. There's never going to be, for the most part, somebody that's just keeping it neutral and saying, okay, I see that point, or I see that point. They've already sort of formulated their opinions about the man because of everything that they've uh, been following and hearing about for years now.
Okay, so let me ask you guys this. A cut like this, right? The fight's supposed to be rescheduled on the 18th of May. Is that more than enough time
Yes,
to get adequate sparring after suffering a cut of that nature that
I think so.
apparently by this guy, Agron Smakisi? You
Yeah.
know, he's saying I threw an uppercut and then I also rocked him with the elbow.
Yeah.
Right? Is that more than enough time to heal and have legitimate sparring in preparation for Usyk?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think Usyk and or I think the outcome of the fight isn't gonna change. Like regardless, like I think
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
um
whoa! I didn't
no no
ask.
no I'm saying no I'm saying like the preparation doesn't change, I feel like, you know, and I feel like yeah, no, I feel like the outcome's gonna be the outcome, you know, and I don't think it was it's neither in favor of either fighter, you know, like I just think it's gonna get rescheduled. And I just feel like Tyson's gonna pull it off and use that weight. But you know, I think having that cut over the eye kind of have is on Usyk or yeah on Usyk's mind, bro. Like he's like really like thinking about like aiming for that eye, you know. So I think Fury knows that, and he already got some game plans, and I think he's just gonna pull it off, bro. Like I already know it. Like he's gonna pull it off, bro. And I just think he finally realizes how big heavyweights can be because Tyson's just another tier of big, you know, in the heavyweight division, and I just feel like he's gonna prove that, you know, there's a reason for why there's weight classes type of thing. But um, yeah, no, I think yeah, Usyk he's gonna lose this one right here, bro. Like he's gonna show some heart. He's gonna show some heart, but I just
Hold
think
on, Drew. Hold on.
yeah, go
You're
ahead.
deviating a little bit. I
Am I?
asked, yeah, because I asked, how long does this cut usually take, right? And you're focusing on the preparation. Hold on.
Oh,
So as I Googled the answers, some are saying in 2 weeks, others say between 4 to 24 days, others say 4 to 6 weeks, right? For a cut on the eyebrow. At least this is what Google is saying, right?
Hmm.
Smaller cuts may fully heal in a week, while larger largerations can take up to an entire year. So I don't really know,
it
where
depends,
this
bro.
thing is just, so it kind of depends, right? So I guess, like most answers in life, the answer is it depends.
Hmm.
So let's just give Tyson Fury a month, right? So almost close to April, he should be fully prepared on the eye. And then April, then May, about a month and 2 weeks, give or take, you should have more than enough time to focus on sparring, right? Because heavyweights don't have to cut weight. They don't really have to play by the game of anybody else, like in terms of the lower weights. So, do you guys know a little more detail about cuts in the eyes like that? Because it kind of seems like this answer is very vague in terms
It's
of what
yeah,
I'm
no, it's
thinking,
because it's yeah, no. There's like a chart, right? Like where it says like per every centimeter is the length of time. But as far as deepness of the cut, like the matters like how many centimeters, and that pretty much depends like you know the time it takes to like you know to heal everything just because it can close up, right, but on the inside it's still healing up and it's still like
Hmm.
a pretty easy cut to open up again, you know, like if anything all you gotta do is slide it off and it'll be detached again, you know, like once you remove the stitches, or no, once you remove the stitches you should be able to like have it pretty healed, but I'm saying like while you have the stitches on it's still healing, you know. So,
Okay, yeah, because
yeah,
my nephew actually, in one of his hands, he cut his thumb and I think his middle finger. I think he was using like
mm,
a hydraulic press and something was, I don't remember, I don't know exactly all the
ouch,
details, but he cut his finger pretty fucking deep and he said, dude, I was so close to the bone. And as I'm researching these
yeah,
questions, and it required stitches and he had a splint on both of his fingers.
hmm,
So again, I'm researching. It says deeper lacerations may take up to several weeks and even
yeah,
months to
yep,
completely heal, and they may require stitches and other treatment from medical professionals to prevent complications and scarring. So
yes.
again, the answer it depends, and it looks like they already have a fight date on May 18th.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, when is Ramadan?
April? Am I wrong?
I think you're correct. Let me search that up. Let me see.
Um, yeah, I think so, but I forget the exact date.
Yeah, March
Uh,
10th. It starts on the evening of Sunday, March 10th to April 9th. Okay, I thought for some reason it was going to be in May.
mm. Yeah,
Okay,
no,
I
that's why
always
they,
thought it was
you
in May.
know, April or May would be a good fight for anyone you can think of, you know, for a Beater Beeb or a Devin Haney. But
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So Going back to it, right? It depends. So let's say they just give Tyson Fury 2 weeks or a month to recover from his eye, and then he's gonna be sparring. So do you guys think that's gonna be more than enough time for him to be fully prepared mentally and physically for May 18th in terms of fighting Alexander Usyk on that date?
Yeah, yeah. I think so. Um, the advancements of in medicine, homie Ricky. Um, it's really no big deal. In fact, I just helped out an individual who is about to undergo a spinal procedure where two of her vertebrae are mended, right? Two of her discs are mended. I mean, well, four of the discs were mended, but they were mended and stacked in pairs. And she was able to release the tension from one of those pairs of mended discs through modern technology. They basically cut in between them, separate and put some kind of a bumper in between them, but she still has to deal with the other one. And uh, and I'm saying if you don't get a spinal procedure done right, you leave these people invalid, right? I believe that somebody can stitch up and put some neosporin over the brow of Liu Tyson Fury, and he should be nicely healed in about a month's time. Now, here's the thing, though. After the month's time, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's gonna all of a sudden start taking a hard sparring to the face, right? He still has to understand that that area right there is going to be soft and malleable because of the cicatrization, the scarring of the skin itself. So he's going to have to compensate with the fighting style in addition to that, because we also know that he's going to be facing a left-handed fighter and a southpaw fighter. It's going to present a lot of different challenges for Luke Fury, but I do think mostly, homie Ricky, it is an unfortunate event for the world of boxing. But in the case of Tyson Fury, although I do not believe he intentionally wanted to get cut, I believe it is serendipitous for him. I do believe it is a happy coincidence that this happened to him, because I do believe 4 months' time from the last fight that he had, where he looked rather bad, and he did take some physical punishment at the hands of Francis Ngannou. I do believe that was too short of a turnaround time for an individual for the most part in the last 5 or so years, he's really fought in an average of one fight every year and 2 months, right? I mean, the most productive year that he had was in 2002. Last year he only fought once. In 2021 he fought once. In 2020 he fought once. So he's been fighting once a year for the past almost 4 years, right? Um, I think 4 months time frame is too short of a time. We know how bad he looked, looking so heavy and slovenly, fighting Francis Ngannou. So I do believe he knows that you can take a Francis Ngannou fight lightly, especially when it's supposed to be an exhibition fight. But you cannot take
Hmm.
a fighter the caliber of Alexander Usyk, an undisputed fighter from cruiserweight, who is an accomplished Olympian, who is undefeated as a professional, and who just beat a three-time belt holder in Anthony Joshua. I believe he's smart enough to know that you cannot go in there looking like a slavish individual, and I think he needed more time. I think he needs more time. I do believe that some of those photographs that are being distributed currently, where it makes Tyson Fury look very slim, slender, and svelte, I don't believe those are necessarily current photographic images of his condition currently. But I do believe he needs more time to lighten himself up on his feet, work on this strength, because he's going to need it to put that big, lengthy, limber body over Tyson Alexander Usyk to bear him down.
Interesting, interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting take. You said a couple of things there. You said, and you used the word serendipitous, right? Which is a noun,
Yes.
and it's the occurrence and development of events by chance in a happy or beneficial
You
way.
looked it up.
No, no, it just I wanted to give you guys because it's one of my favorite words.
Oh,
And right, so you're kind of seeing, you're saying warp speed. You're saying that he found value in getting a cut because he gets to work out more and be lighter on foot. Which in his last probably 10 fights, ever since he fought Deontay Wilder, he's probably been over 300 pounds and leaning on fighters. That
he
was
Hmm.
totally
probably
dusted
one of
that.
his skills and upsides that he had against Alexander Usyk. Let me
Hmm.
ask you this. Do you think Tyson Fury is stronger than Alexander Usyk?
Yeah,
Why do you say that?
because he has to carry way much weight than the other individual. It's hard to be an individual that's weighing 400 pounds at once, at one point in your life, and still walk around with that weight. Just the fact that you have to burden to carry that,
Hmm.
it's going to be just much more
All that weight on his
capability.
knees.
It's basically the same thing as how you cut weight, uh, homie Ricky. When
Okay,
you
so do you
when you are bigger and you cut weight, you still carry the strength that you used to have when you were much heavier. For the most part, you just come down in weight so that when you're able to basically rehydrate, you're able to gather some of that potential, that potency, that strength that you used to have when you were a heavier individual. That's why those very heavyweight, those former heavyweight fighters like, let's say, David Benavidez, are able to come down in weight and be so powerful at a lower weight classes because they're used to carrying that burden of weight with them. It just carries over to the lower weight classes. The potential to be powerful is something that I would say Luke Tyson Fury would have over a guy who at once fought as low as 165 in the Olympics, which would be Alexander Usyk.
right, but so you think just because he's heavier that he's naturally stronger, right? Because he has to carry that weight.
I think
But
he moves his body well, considering his weight. Yeah.
how does he move his body well?
Well, he's pretty light on his feet, considering that he's uh, been as fighting at what 285 at once. These very incredibly heavy weights. He's very quick on his feet, homie, and I can't think of many people, heavyweight fighters that have seen that have been so fleet of foot, being so big. I mean, can
Could
you
we say
name
this?
a fighter that moves as well as he does? He might have some of the best feet in boxing besides Alexander Usyk.
Yeah, he has better feet than Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez and Canelo
Well, at
Alvarez. Okay,
heavyweight, at
listen, listen.
heavyweight,
Okay,
at
okay.
heavyweight. Come on,
Hold on, I know, but you said in boxing. Hold on. There are
heavyweight
many
boxing.
people
Sorry.
in the world, all right, that are 6'8", 6'9", 6'7", or that in other sports, if they would cross over to boxing, they would be heavyweights, right? Um, a lot of people like to call Tyson Fury a freak of nature, right? Because he's 6'9", 300 something pounds. He's not supposed to move like that. All right. The only time that I've actually seen him look pretty like slick was against Otto Wallin when he put his hands down on the ropes and he was just like showboating and moving, right? But that's not that impressive, man. Like it's not that impressive. Look, if we compare them to other sports, right? Because we can assume that boxers aren't the best athletes. They're really not. Now, I'm not saying that some boxers aren't athletic. We know there are some fighters that are athletic. Anthony Joshua is athletic in terms of how he goes about training, right? Even though he fights very stiff. Errol Spence, Bud Crawford, all of these guys are quite athletic. Teofimo Lopez, he can do backflips. I don't see Tyson Fury doing backflips like that, right? So when you say, oh, he moves so incredible, he's just throwing a jab and taking a back step and just circling around. Like, that's not hard to do, guys. Now, it's hard to do it when there's guys like Deontay Wilder throwing punches at you and you're making them miss by a little bit. But if you really look at it, man is really flawed. He just gets away with extending his hands and pulling back like an amateur. If you look at Steve Cunningham, how he dropped him with like a chopping right hand over the top, it's the reason why he fell down. Okay, it's just many fighters have not been able to replicate that leaping right hand because they don't do a great job of masking it, of throwing it with a feint. Okay, let me ask you this: did Tyson Fury look extremely athletic against Francis Ngannou? Absolutely not.
No.
He finally fought, I guess you can say, a real fighter, not a boxer, right? A real fighter. Okay, because
Well,
if
he
you
also
look at
fought Derek Chisora
I mean,
and Dylan White.
at times you can say Derek Chisora, but I've also seen it like I mean, that fight lasted what 5 rounds?
And Dylan White. Yeah, no, I get it, but they're fighters, though, homie Ricky. That's what I'm saying. If we're gonna try to discount
Like a
the
consummate fighter,
career,
like a real, like a legitimate fighter, like a fighter that's athletic, strong, right? All like he didn't look that good. He did not look very athletic. Okay, and as for Derek Chisora and Tyson Fury, I think they're like best friends. I'm not gonna say that Derek Chisora took a dive, but I mean, I don't know. It's the same man that went 12 rounds with Alexander Usyk and he gets dropped by Fury. I don't know, man. Look, it's
I
kind of
think
like
Derek Chisora is friends with Anthony
it's
Joshua.
the same thing with Malik Scott and freaking Deontay Wilder. Dude winks at him, he hits him with a two, doesn't even penetrate the chin, and he just takes a
Yeah,
dive and he puts
I
on a great
remember that.
skills. Derek Chisora, I mean, I like the dude, man. He's a dog. I don't really think that he would do like that, but nah, man. Look,
He's a
I'm
Gabriel
all over
Sotto
the
of
place.
heavyweight.
I'm all over the place here, but Tyson Fury did not look that athletic, or did he really have great movement? And I know you might have a reason to be like, well, I just said and mentioned that it's hard for him to get up for an exhibition match, right?
Yeah,
Like you don't really care about it. Maybe you're
yeah,
right. Maybe you're right. But he got dropped by a guy having his debut.
yeah. And here's the thing, homie Ricky. I think again, just the proof, right? That I really do believe that Tyson Fury did not want this fight this soon. Um, I don't think that he cut himself. I don't think anybody got paid to cut him. I think it was a coincidence. I think it's stupid that he was taking this kind of hard. And I don't even think it was necessarily any kind of hard sparring.
It looked pretty tough.
Huh?
It looked pretty good. I mean, it looked
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
good.
it looked good, but I mean, you know, in fact, you know what? Agran Smakizi, I was looking at him. I was like, well, if you look at that video, homie Ricky, when you see Tyson Fury fighting that guy looks way smaller
Absolutely.
than Tyson Fury, right?
Yeah, he looks like a 168 pounder.
Yeah, he looks
Yeah.
quite small. He looks like a very small, like a light heavyweight that's making weight. But that guy, in fact, he last fought weighing 280 something, like 260 something, 280 something. I was like, how the heck does that happen? Right? I mean, this guy is no longer like a professional boxer. I think he's transitioning to MMA. And I don't want to say transitioning like to and insinuate anything about MMA fighters, but I do believe that I was looking through his box rec and just trying to see more about this fella, right? And Agron McKinsey, he last fought. No, well, actually, he did not last fight, but he did fight Ajit Caballel, and McKinsey weighed 242 pounds.
What was the outcome?
Caballel weighed 238. So
Yeah.
that guy right there is apparently a guy that's walking just shy of 250. Now look at how much bulkier Tyson Fury looks like that than that guy. I don't know how that guy weighs 250, but Tyson Fury looked much bigger than him, much heavier than him. And if you also look at that video, homie, I mean, it's obvious. The thing that hits him was not a punch; it was definitely an elbow.
Yeah, no, it looks like that because Tyson Fury, to give him credit, man, he is extremely tall and very massive. So the guy, if you just kind of look at it, the guy probably is like 6'3", 6'4". Tyson Fury is like 6'10", 6'9",
Yeah,
and probably like 100 pounds heavier than him. So that's probably why it looks like that, just to put things into perspective. But let me read this message right here that Fury's team sent out. I believe it was Fury's team. Hold on, let me see if I can. Fury's The cut, which opened above Fury's right eye, required urgent medical attention and significant stitching, and will obviously require a period of recovery. Scoopering any possibility of the fight with Usyk taking place on the 17th of February in Saudi Arabia. A spokesperson said, whilst this is still breaking news, it is clearly a massive disappointment after the work that has been done by so many people to finally deliver this historic event to the world. Once the doctors have appraised Tyson's eye, we will have a better idea of the period of recovery needed. Once known, we will work diligently with all the stakeholders at the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to reschedule this fight as soon as possible and will, of course, keep everyone updated with developments. A disappointed Tyson added, I am absolutely devastated after preparing for this fight for so long and being in such superb condition. I feel bad for everyone involved in this huge event, and I will work diligently towards the rescheduled date once the eye has healed. I can only apologize to everyone affected, including my own team, Team Usyk, the undercard fighters, partners, and the fans, as well as our hosts and my friends in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Yeah, man. I feel like it is a massive disappointment, but no one is surprised by this. Oh, someone dropped off real quick. Oh, Drew. No one is surprised by this. And it's shocking that no one is surprised by this. We all have, I'm a believer that, you use the word serendipitous. I just don't believe it. Even though the facts are probably like, no, dude, there's a legitimate sparring partner saying this is the punch that I hit him with, elbow was landed. There's video, there's photos of stitching, the honorable Stitch Duran, right, for Merced, California, as Vince Vargas gives us a little bit of history background. This is an honorable, cornerman. Why would he lie? And so all of the facts, when you start putting everything, it's no longer conjecture, it's no longer hearsay. It starts to become legitimate. And even if it was illegitimate or legitimate, it's rescheduled regardless. And you said, I might not believe Tyson Fury, but I believe Turki Al-Sheikh. And there's obviously a $10 million stipulation for the withdrawal because I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure, the man has a reputation to uphold along with his facilities and the events and the people that, as you eloquently stated, had to make plans and drive and fly over there to get everything rolling, the construction and, the marketing team and the stage building that they had to go ahead and, develop. I'm pretty sure everyone was disappointed and everything has to get postponed as well. So could be a little bit of a stressful and a little bit of a clusterfuck.
Hmm. Yeah,
So, when you
and
start
that's the
putting it
thing.
together, it starts to make sense. But I don't want to give Tyson Fury the benefit of the doubt, man. I really don't. And the reason is because of this. I understand why he fought Francis Ngannou, 4 months ago. But that should have been Usyk. Okay, that should have been Usyk on that night. Okay, I understand that if he loses to Usyk before fighting Francis, that Francis fight doesn't exist. So he did a cash grab, right? And I'm very upset that Turki Al-Sheikh allowed that to happen. Because Turki Al-Sheikh funded both fucking fights. Excuse my language. He
Yeah,
funded both fights. And he could have told Tyson, I'm not paying for Francis Ngannou. I'm paying for Usyk.
yeah.
Okay. So I, not only as the rest of the world is disappointed, I have to put everything in question when I look back at it. Right. Anyway, keep going, brother. Let me see it,
You
brother.
know, I did want to say a couple of things, homie Ricky. Um, just to further expound and to substantiate my my statements, right? My hypotheses that Luke Tyson Fury is the most powerful, manipulative individual in the sport of boxing. Here's the thing: I'm not too sure if you guys know what
Mm.
Riyadh season is, but I've been working on this. I wouldn't even call it expose, even though I'm sure that a lot of things are going to be exposed. But I've been doing a deep dive, a review of who Mr. Turkey Adashik is.
Mm.
He's a very fascinating individual. And in fact, I don't lie to you guys. The more I read about this man, the more I know about this man, the more I not only respect the guy, there's something very likable about the guy. And the way that he's moving, I don't want to spoil it. But the way that he is moving with this stern, fast dedication to the sport, and in fact to everything else that he's trying to do for his country, there's an urgency there. And I don't want to say what that urgency is, but I would just like to say that when you have objectives in your life and you understand the finite nature of existence, you move like Turkey Al Sheikh. With that being said, I really do believe Turkey Al Sheikh. And I believe that Turkey Al Sheikh, much more than many of us, he really cared about watching this fight. And Tyson Fury has just disrupted the plans of Saudi Arabia and Turkey Al Sheikh, because here's another way that he's manipulated Riyadh season. Riyadh season is is Saudi Arabia's ambition to bring the world into a more uh, tolerable uh, weather, to the rest of the world, to open up those doors of travel and tourism to their country. And he invites everybody around what we consider to be our winter, and they consider basically like the coolest time of the year for them, where the weather is like a nice 75, 85 degrees, very tolerable, right? And he has pushed for from November to February, in March, better yet, 5 month span right there, where he invites the world to go and enjoy the wonders that Saudi Arabia will be promoting during that season. It's supposed to end in mid March, right? Like you guys said, to prepare for Ramadan and whatnot the following month or whatever. And now Tyson Fury, because of this postponement, has now made it so that Riyadh has been pushed. Riyadh season has been extended by 2 months. This is Tyson Fury, a man that manipulates and plays with the heartstrings of these individuals, even the most powerful individuals. So
Oh,
and
going.
here's the other thing:
Go ahead.
nobody is even addressing the other things. Did you guys really think that only Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk were supposed to be fighting that day? Has anybody even considered what the postponement of this big fight night was going to do to Jayo Pataya fighting Maris Bradis for the vacant IBF? Did anybody consider how it's going to affect Joe Cordina, the champion, versus Anthony Kakase for the IBF championship defense of Joe Cordina, of Sergey Kovalev's return? This time now a move up to cruiserweight to fight a so-called Robin Sirwan Safar from
Mhm,
Saudi Arabia, one of the
mhm.
Saudi Arabian fighters that Turkey and the Sheikh is trying to promote for his country, and the
Well,
participation of this beautiful,
maybe
violent sport.
maybe some of them got rescheduled to other events. Maybe maybe the main event got rescheduled, and they decided to either go back in, or I'm not sure if that how that works specifically, but I
Mhm.
mean, maybe they didn't decide to reschedule themselves. Maybe they're like, well, maybe I'm just gonna fight sooner than wait. When's it rescheduled? May or June? May, right?
May like the 10th or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean, we a quick Google search of,
Mhm.
let's say, just Joe Cordina versus Anthony Kakase might actually bring up, on the box rec, Joe Cordina's next fight. But what I'm saying is, these guys were about to fight on the undercard of one of the biggest, most important fights in the history of boxing. That might not happen
Mhm.
unless they postpone their own plans for almost 3 months into the future, to wait out all that time to play the part that they were originally going to play just this weekend.
I
So
wonder.
I
I'm
wonder
telling
if
you, this is how disruptive this individual is. In
well, I
case you
wonder
guys
if
think I'm saying anything favorable about Luke Fury, you would be dead wrong.
no, I wonder if they all have to agree on the reschedule, right? Like, I wonder if they all have to move as one. Every single fight on that card has to get rescheduled. Like, if that's the case, and so if someone knows got some insight, feel free to comment.
Mhm.
Um, like, if that's the case, then yeah, that's a big disruptor right there. Like, that's pretty messed up of Fury and pretty
Well,
what
I'm
not
going to
so.
answer one of those
Go
questions
ahead.
right now.
Uh,
And Joe Cordina is fighting on 5/18/2024 against Anthony Kakase. So at least he is willing to
reschedule.
hold off his defense until then. So I guess that answers that. I'm still looking for Jay Opataya to see what he decides to do. I'm
Because he
looking
got
into,
options.
yeah, he's got options, but what better option? And here it is, the same answer. 5/18/2024.
Mm,
2024, Maris Bradis is going to be
okay.
fighting Jay Opataya. At least tentatively, right now, the plan is for at least these defending champions, or at least in the case of the IBF, the vacant IBF versus Maris Bradis, and the champion at IBF 130, Joe Cordina, are willing to wait out another almost 3 months to take that fight in. Disappointing, very disruptive. I This is the reason why I despise Tyson Fury, and this is why I live for this fight, because I do want to see him lose at the hands of
I'm not
Alexander
gonna.
Usyk.
I'm not gonna lie. Same here. Like I mean, uh, I wouldn't mind seeing Usyk win just because he's a likable dude. I mean, I forget who has animosity towards him. I feel like is it you, Rick, that don't like Usyk at all?
Yeah,
Somebody
I
else.
don't like him at all. But
Wow.
I don't. Wait, I don't like Tyson Fury, man. I don't like him
No,
at
no, no,
all. But
Usyk.
oh, Usyk, no, bro, I like Usyk.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
everybody
My
likes
bad.
Usyk. Everybody
Yeah,
Yeah,
likes the
yeah,
rabbit.
yeah. Come
yeah,
on, man.
yeah. Usyk's a likable dude. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, why
He's
would I?
a
Why
he's
would
the
I not
rabbit.
like Usyk? No, listen, I'm very critical of Lomachenko.
Oh, yeah. Okay, never mind.
I'm very critical of Lomachenko, mainly because Speed puts him on this pedestal.
Man, if you say something bad about that guy, me and you will throw down, bro.
Listen, I like Lomachenko, but the way
Hey,
you
man.
put him on this pedestal and revere this man and try to rewrite history is just,
Hey,
bro,
man.
like what?
God.
Look,
You dipped your
let me
toes.
backtrack a little. Let me
You dipped your
backtrack a
toes.
little.
You gotta let it go, man. Nah, I'm
Maybe
just
we
kidding.
are being a bit unfair against Tyson Fury, but this is all
Oh,
Tyson Fury's fault, okay?
yes.
Because I don't like to think and be so pessimistic and be nihilistic in terms of certain events and or the destruction or the fall of men. That's not what I am about. At the end of the day, I just want to see great fights, right?
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
most of fans. So, and this is one of those historic, meaningful fights that could live up to an amazing rematch or a trilogy. But this is all the fault of Tyson Fury. So he's got to reap the rewards and the flaws of situations that occurred in the timeline of his career, like the postponement of this fight. Okay. And Turkey Al Sheik, if I'm Tyson Fury, I'm like, bro, you could have had this fight in October, but you
Mm.
decided to, be on my good gracious and give me the Francis Ngannou fight over there.
And this
Okay.
is what I was gonna say. I was
So,
gonna say
like
about Turkey.
everybody, not just what I mean by backtracking, not just put all the blame on Tyson Fury. This is Turkey Ali Sheik and everybody involved, Alexander Usyk included. Okay, because again, there's a big. Apparently, this is a mega fight. Bud Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. But if I'm David Benavides, in the case Alexander Usyk, I'm not letting Francis Ngannou fight Fury before me. If I'm David, I'm not letting Bud Crawford cut in line and fight Canelo Alvarez.
Mhm.
That's exactly what's happening here.
Yeah, and
Okay?
with the Turkey, man, I feel like it was pretty cool that that this guy actually had a $10 million what was it, $10 million penalty, and what does the guy on the shit end of the stick gets 10 million, right, or something like that, and the other guy has to
Uh,
pay up.
they reduce uh their recompense by 10 million. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
like a
yeah. So I
reduction.
mean, yeah. So he went on video with Tyson Fury as well. So
And
I
he was
mean,
angry.
yeah, he was mad. No, he was
Who Igis
sincere.
Clemens?
No,
No.
no, no. Turkey had a sheik. Well, I don't know if he was angry or that's just
Oh yeah,
the
he was
way
mad
that they.
too.
Well, here's the thing, Drew. I know that he sounded angry, but I don't know if that just has to do with the tone of voice that gets emitted from a
Well,
person that's natively a speaker of
but you heard what he said, right?
He doesn't have the right to be angry.
That's what I'm saying. If it's
Turki
completely
Alisher is the
accidental,
last person that has no right to be angry because he condoned the fuckery by giving Francis Ngannou Tyson Fury,
no.
or vice versa.
No, he
Yes.
did not condone nothing.
Then
He wanted
why
to
was he
have
the
a
host of
fun
that fight?
fight. He put up a fight that was supposed to be entertaining for the masses, that for his people again. You guys don't know what Turkey Ali Sheikh's obligation is to Saudi Arabia. He's trying to bring stars and big names to his country so that they feel content and liven up their spirit. He's doing a very excellent job. But he's not looking at putting up fights for the fuckery. In fact, that's the reason why he responded to Gervonta Tank Davis and he said, "Oh, so he says he would only fight and talk to me if he gets two Ferraris." He goes, "The most I'll give you is two boxing gloves. Otherwise, you ain't getting nothing." This guy is not going to consent to, as you like to say, and I apologize for having said that word, the effery. Nobody is doing that. He just wants to entertain. He just wants to bring stars to his hemisphere, to his people. I have no problems with that. And just because Tyson Fury is with the effery, and he looks like it, doesn't mean that we should blame everybody for that effort. He's only, I don't even think he's necessarily upset, Drew, right? I think it was just the sound of his tone of the voice because of the way that these speakers, I'm not too sure if it's Farsi or Saudi, I'm not too sure what that is. Maybe it's Arab, maybe it's just what they speak. That the way that they sound when they speak English, but he really would not have any reasons to be angry because he knows it was an accident. Now, he does have to understand this, that he looks at the history, right, of Tyson Fury and his movements, and he has to come up with some way to basically abet any possible forfeiting of a fight in the future. And he has to say, look, from now on, you guys move right. Don't come with no crazy stuff because I'm making big plans. And just in case, whether it's accidental or otherwise, there will be a $10 million punishment for doing that. I have to protect my investment. So I think he's being firm. I think he's being fair. He had Tyson Fury right next to him, probably to make sure the cut was a legitimate injury. Right? He's not just gonna take Tyson Fury's word for it. He's gonna check if, in fact, it is real. So I think he's checking out his all his boxes, dotting his I's, crossing his T's, making sure that it doesn't happen again. Right? That is simple as that. Now, if you guys don't mind, I would just like to wish a good even fall to Truly Trey, who just hopped on for 1 second and said yes. Not too sure what the yes was about, but thank you very much. And of course, at Pachuco, we would like to recognize you and your attendance tonight. A good even fall to you, El Pachuco. Saludos, 4 points, cheers. And of course, Mr. Vince Vargas brings us that legendary cutman, Stitch Duran, incredible man. I've had an opportunity to meet the guy. He's a cool fella there. Yeah, I think he's a great individuals, and I'm not too sure who this cutman, Mr. Basel, is, the mechanic, but he sounds like a badass man right there. And of course, Mr. Larry Liston, he and I and Drew, we're just going back on what the significance of HIPAA and the private confidential medical information and the protections implemented for that are. And he thinks that it's as easy as anybody just being able to release that information if they want to, which I completely agree, but nobody has to. Nobody has to. This is the law that's been employed from the United States of America, if I'm not mistaken. A revamping of federal laws to protect medical information in 1996 under President Bill Clinton, if I'm not mistaken. I may be mistaken because I've done drugs and I used to have a 5-gallon bucket of gasoline that I used to huff, listening to punk rock and drum and bass. But I still believe that we do have rights to our private information. And if we get some medical reports, it will be because Tyson Fury releases them. but I don't think he ever will. And just to end this one real quick, Pachuco states the following. He says, "I wish that Usyk would not have taken another fight. I wish that Usyk would have taken another fight instead. I know that it's a major ask, but inactivity in boxing has become its defining characteristics. Inactivity is killing boxing." And of course, I believe that El Pachuco is hinting at the possibility of the name that people have been saying, that Alexander Usyk can fight in the interim, which is Hrgovic, Filip Hrgovic, if I'm not mistaken. Do you guys want to see Usyk take on Hrgovic in the meantime, or is that a major risk when the biggest fight in boxing's history is only 3 months away, guys? What do you guys think?
No, I think
Big Bang
I want
Zane.
that's exactly who I was going to say.
Big
I
Bang
prefer
Zane.
Wow.
the I prefer Chinese
Chinaman deserves a
power.
title fight.
Chinese power. Give me Chinese power. Like that's the guy I prefer before. If they say, "Oh, I want to fight Hergovich," no, I want them to fight. If they ever have Hergovich names in their mouth, Zhang better be first before him. You know, because Zhang got the belt. You know, so you got to go through Zhang. Shit, that's the one I prefer before Hergovich. Hergovich kind of he's got to prove something to me because in my opinion he lost to Big Bang. So yeah. Then isn't he in talks with somebody else? I could have sworn I seen something like he's in talks with somebody right now, like, and he's gonna, it's imminent, it's gonna happen. But um, yeah, no, that's who I prefer, man. What about you guys?
I think Hergovic is a heck of a fight, but it would have to be like now, guys. Like it would have to be
Yeah,
like next week. We agreed upon it. We're not gonna forfeit on this
I'm
weekend's
higher.
fight.
I'm higher
But
on Caballero than I am on
yeah,
Hergovich.
yeah, yeah. In fact, Jeet Caballero versus Philip Hergovic would be an incredible fight. I would
Same is
love
that
to see
same
that fight.
same promoter? Same is that
Um,
same side of the street? No, huh?
Jeet Caballero. No,
I don't think so.
uh,
Rick. No,
G,
huh?
G Caballao.
Yeah, and Hergovich.
I
Are
I
don't.
they
don't
both the
know.
zone?
Oh, well, I don't know if that's the promoter.
I
I
know
don't think
Philip
Eddie
Hergovic
Hearn is
is
the
with the
promoter.
zone.
What was that?
I think Hergovic is with the zone, but I don't know about Caballao.
Maybe Salita. That's a good question, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a
Wow.
good fight if they're on the same side of the street. I wouldn't mind that one. Because I think Caballero is a fucking is a dark horse. Like he's a big underdog, bro, to anyone. Because of his ability and I think he went to the Olympics. If I'm wrong, I gotta do my research on this guy. But no, I seen something that he went to the Olympics, but like, and he's out of Turkey, right? Or am I wrong? I might be way off right now. I shouldn't even be saying anything.
Check
But
this out. Let me
go
read
ahead.
this quote on boxing scene, right? I did see the video. Krasuk told Boxing News. It's not a convincing video, together with the picture of Tyson that he is in good shape as well. Very slim. People find this picture to be made 3 years ago. I did not explore it myself, but that's what people said to me on Instagram. There's another picture with him and his promoter Dimitri Salita in the ring. Same underwear. But who knows? Maybe Tyson has been wearing his underwear for the 3 or 4 years. You never know.
Yeah.
Look, man, wow. The fact is that you cannot trust this video, and the video itself does not prove anything. The picture of the cut, yeah, it shows us the fact, but the cut is severe. But getting punched in a gear by an uppercut and get cut, no way. There is an elbow, but how the hell can you get an elbow get inside after an uppercut? What should be done? And when someone is screaming, why would they scream? Did they see blood? Okay, if they saw blood, why wouldn't the blood appear on the gloves when he was wiping his eye? Larry Liston was saying this earlier. Too many questions. This video is not convincing. The video is in 128p. The convincing thing is the medical report and the statement that he got cut. Krasuk said Fury's medical report was corroborated by the Saudis. This was confirmed by our Saudi partners. He said they got the medical report, and the medical report claims he will need 2 to 3 months to recover. So the medical report right? When I was searching up, on Google, how long is it going to take to heal? By the medical staff, it says he would need 2 to 3 months to recover on that cut. If he got it in February, he's barely recovering in May. So when we talked about when is he feasible to take punches and spar tough again, it would have to be after May. I
After
still got to
fight.
question the validity if this fight is going to happen in May. This is
Wow.
crazy, man. Look, man. Look, I'm not a doctor, right? I don't know how big that cut is. But obviously, Tyson Fury is a large man, and I'm pretty sure he has a big ass dome. Okay. So I'm guessing that cut in his eye might be, I don't know, 1 inch big. Okay. Maybe 1.5. This is insane, guys. This is insane.
10 million. That's a lot of money, man.
Medical reports. And how can Turkey Al Sheikh, if knowing the medical reports is rescheduling 2 to 3 months after the fact, right? Why would he make it so sudden on May? Usyk will win by targeting that eye, man.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah.
If
But
Pachuco goes, hold on. You guys been cooking. And Pachuco goes, I don't understand why people are surprised. Fury is the guy who fought in Ngannou, a UFC fighter. Fury has failed many boxing fans multiple times. I feel bad for Usyk. He also says, I would love to see Andy Ruiz get a shot. But who else in the heavyweight division is deserving? They are mostly inactive. I like Parker, but for what? For beating Wilder? Zhang is probably the most deserving. Vince Vargas goes, Bazell is in the opposite corner of Durant. There are two top cutmen at top rank. You probably seen him. White guy wears the same shirt as Durant. I think so. Is he the white guy with glasses? Oh, yes.
yeah,
He goes, yeah, he wears glasses. Sort of nerdy. Yeah, that's him. He
yeah.
probably
Both
looks
of these
like
guys are
Freddie
cool,
Roach from the
actually.
backside. Looks like Freddie Roach. When
Yeah,
teams
yeah.
don't have their own coming, these two guys go to work. Cool top rank does that. If Pachuco goes, forget about the heavyweight division. Support the little guys. That's a bumper sticker on my car.
That's so cool, man. If it is, that's so cool. If you haven't done it, Pachuco, and if that's not really a thing, you should do that. I would buy one for sure. Forget the H dub. Support the little guys. Support the LWs, lightweights. Yeah, that's cool.
Nah, I would have to be the flyweights, man. The lightweights are 135 pounders. Flyweights are, you know, what Oscar Collazo, what weight class is he?
Jeez, that's 108,
Super
homie.
flyweight?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Like atom weight.
I don't know. But yeah, that would actually be a great idea, Pachuco. You should copyright that, man, and make bumper stickers of boxing. People would buy that shit hella quick. It's the straw weight. They called it the straw weight. Oscar Collazo is like 105 pounds. That's a straw weight. That's crazy,
Did
man.
you guys hear what Collazo said?
Now, what do you say, man? What do you say?
So apparently, a couple of months back, um, Oscar de la Hoya, he had a bunch of his fighters, a bunch of fighters, and he was just saying, "Look, guys, we have to go back to the days when we were active. We have to go back to the days when there was people like myself, Bernard Hopkins, fighting 4 or 5 times a year." And he called out all of his fighters. He goes, "Whoever goes out there to perform, fights the most and everything, uh, I will pay you guys $5 million if you guys fight 5 times a year and win." And Oscar Collazo says,
Ah,
and Oscar Collazo called him out on that, and he goes, "I'm gonna take you up on that. I'm gonna hold you to your word. I'm gonna fight for those $5 million." And he says he wants, and he called Oscar de la Hoya, and he says, "I want you to set me up for the next one. I just beat one guy. I want to fight again. I'm gonna get those 5 mil that he tweeted about." Collazo has reported on Boxing Scene. He said, "I'm gonna get those 5 fights in 2024 and collect that 5 mil that De La Hoya tweeted about." And now, look, that's a crazy gambit, right? That's a crazy gambit that Oscar De La Hoya is putting out there, right? Because to fight 5 times in a year in this current day and age is incredible, right? Especially for a champion.
Tough.
Anybody that's moving 5 times a year, five fights or six or
Can't get
so,
knocked out.
yeah, it's more like, well, In the champions, yes. But if you're
You can't get
somebody
knocked out.
like, well, like Richard Torres, right? Richard Torres is fighting at an average of four, maybe 5 times a year, right?
Yeah, but he's not a champion. It's uncommon to
Exactly.
see champions fight.
Exactly.
He's the one that's knocking out.
Exactly. Uh-huh. There you go. The fact that he's fighting 5 times a year as a
The
champion
fact that he
Collazo.
didn't get knocked out.
Exactly. He's risking a lot. He's risking a lot, taking on 5 fights, being a defending champion. But that's what Oscar De La Hoya apparently said. He offered to pay $5 million bonus for any Golden Boy boxer who fights 5 times a year. Now, I'm sure that the rub is somewhere in the paperwork, but still, that's what he said. And Collazo said, "I need that money." He promised. There you go, guys. Oscar Collazo might be fighting 5 times this year.
I hope so. You know what? Because in the last couple of fights that I've seen, he's very entertaining, and he actually tries to go for the KO. And for there's not many champions that actually do that, right? Archer Beterbiev is another one. They go for the KO. I respect fighters that go for the KO, right?
And
And it's
that's what's
very
gonna make.
interesting. Hopefully he lives up to that because there's not many big fights at strawweights. And for Oscar Criazo or Oscar De La Hoya to put that pressure and demand that excellence from his fighters of being active, I think fighters these days are missing out on a lot of opportunities fighting once or twice a year. You see,
Yeah.
these champions and most fighters in general, and most boxers, that is, they should continue to fight as often as they can, like prospects, 5, 6, 7 times a year. Now, I'm not saying there should be 5 or 7 mega fights or big fights. For example, Tank Davis is a champion, which I don't think he is a legitimate one, but let's say he holds a belt right now. If he's a WBA champion, he should fight in January against, he can fight a Hector Luis Garcia and then fight in April against Ryan Garcia, then fight in July against, some guy that's rated 100 and knock him out really quick, kind of like Chavez Sr. used to do. If you go look at he had like maybe 10 fights, 7 fights a year, and a lot of those guys had losing records. So that's what these guys should do. And people would give him a pass and be like, well, at least he's, having an American tour fighting in Montana and Washington and Wyoming and Idaho and just knocking these dudes out and giving people the opportunity to watch him fight for cheap while, getting an amazing, Henry Armstrong 70 win record or something like that. You know what I mean? That's what these fighters need to do. But the fact is, these fighters just want 1 or 2 fights a year at best, mega fights. And if they don't get that, guess what? The motherfuckers cry retirement. Shakur Stevenson. Instead of just being active and fighting, no, you fucking throw a tantrum because Navarrete is going to get an opportunity to fight for a vacant WBO belt, and then you cry foul and just be like, man, I'm sick and tired of not getting big fights. Bro, what a broad, bro.
Yeah. That's
Horrible.
especially with his style.
I can't even
Especially
say broad because, like, I know women that are tough as fuck.
Yeah, no, especially with
Shakur, bro. That is like the weakest thing, bro. It's like you just became a champion. Just go fight a bunch of dudes, a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah.
exactly, and it's easy money.
40-0, and then boom.
Exactly, and that's like easy money,
Ridiculous, bro.
easy
Yeah.
money, especially with his style. It's like, man, you're gonna get easy money. You're gonna go unanimous decision every single time. Why not? Why if you're gonna stay in the gym like you're saying, then I'm gonna stay ready, forever working on my craft. Why not work on your craft on nobody's or and
Yeah.
just stay fucking active? Like, what's so hard about that? Like, you're just gonna stay in the gym, not showing your face. Like, now you're just fucking up your brand. Like
Ridiculous.
you
Bro,
don't
that
even.
comment that he said that he's retiring, bro. Honestly, A, nobody really cares. B, no one's taking you serious, and C, you're hurting your own stock by retiring.
Mhm.
Like no one's gonna, bro. Like people already boo you, so you have to entertain fans, and the best way to entertain fans is knocking out people.
Like, for
Just
example,
be active.
If
Everybody
Tio stayed,
reveres Tank Davis, and he's knocking out nobody putting rehydration clauses. Shakur, just fight everybody, bro. Go fight Ruben Villa. Give my homie a shot. Go
one
fight
question,
a bunch of dudes, a bunch of up and comers.
one question.
Yeah.
If Tio stayed retired another year, would he still be relevant?
No, because none of these dudes, you know, they haven't earned that status.
Mhm.
They haven't
Yeah.
earned that
Wait, not
status.
even Tio?
Not
No,
even
but
Tio.
I'm saying,
Tio
but
has
speed.
17 fights. If Teofimo were to retire after Thursday, ain't nobody gonna cry for him, bro.
The,
When he announced his retirement after
yeah.
Josh Taylor, nobody believed him.
Yeah.
The
Nobody was
speed.
like, Tio, no, come back, dude. You're so amazing, bro. Come here, let me hug you. You can't do that. No
Yeah.
one's saying that about these dudes.
Yeah, I was saying a
What the
year.
fuck?
I was saying a year layoff on top of the layoff he already had. You know, like yeah,
Oh.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's why like it was kind of like good that that Tio like came back because the more and more time he stayed out of the light, the harder it is to come back. And I just feel like Tio another year it would have been like worse on him, bro. Like something would have been happening to those belts, or that was the main thing that he did actually was actually keep the belts, right? And actually that's pretty much what indicated like, hey, he's not actually fucking retired. But with Shakur, he ain't fucking what do you call it? He ain't paying no fee to no belt, because he don't have one, right? So
Well, he
No,
does
he
have a belt.
does.
he
He has
does.
the one that they
Yeah.
gave him,
Oh,
for
okay, okay,
quote
okay.
unquote
Against Edwin de
beating
los
Edwin de
Santos.
los Santos. He didn't
So we're
win
gonna have to
the
see. We're gonna have
fight.
to see if he pays for that fee then. If he
Listen,
pays
bro.
for that fee, that's gonna indicate that he's not retired. But we'll see if he's full of shit or in his
No,
feelings.
he's full of it, true.
Check this out.
He's 27 years of age.
When football players retire, guys like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Philip Rivers, Drew Brees, people are like, damn, that's a lost era. Like, damn, we got to see maybe the greatest era of quarterback play or evolutionary quarterbacks play, right? Winners. And why do people feel that impact? Because they seen you as kids. And now we're adults and we're like, damn, thank you for, being part of my life for 5 months on every Sunday. These boxers, nobody cares about you guys like that, right? They don't care about the tantrums. They don't care about your inactivity, about your quotes of retirement, because you haven't really paid your dues. Shakur is what, 15-0? I mean, how many fights does he have? Like 20, maybe?
I think 20 or something like
You
that. Yeah,
think people
around
are
there.
calling Shakur Stevenson a Hall of Famer, a GOAT? No, we're not. To be honest with you, we're not even calling Navarrete that. And guess what? He's a 3-time divisional champion. He knocks people out, and he's got over 40 fucking fights.
As far as Mexicans though,
And
but
if
that's another
Navarrete were to
conversation.
retire, guess what? Nobody's gonna cry for him. You think
Yeah,
we're gonna cry for a snotty nosed kid who basically didn't deserve that belt against Edwin de los Santos, and you cry like, bro? Nobody cares, bro. To be
Yeah,
yeah.
honest with
That
you,
was
nobody is crying about Tank Davis not fighting. That dude fights one time a year, and guess what? He hasn't fought or has a scheduled fight this year, and guess what? You don't see anybody crying about it. The dude just talks, bro.
that
This
was
is
funny.
crazy.
Drew. Drew,
huh? What?
homie Ricky always has the token football analogy about boxing. I wonder when he starts doing an analogy about boxing using NASCAR. I like to hear that
NASCAR,
one.
NASCAR, NASCAR.
Um, no, but
Now,
what
like,
was the subject before that? You didn't deviate, but
oh, I
you
deviated, bro.
Oh, he
you did, huh?
deviated all
Oh, I
kinds.
deviated. You guys should have
Okay.
stopped me. Like, yeah,
All
stay
of a
on
sudden, we're
topic,
talking
man.
about Shakur Stevens.
Stay on
First, we
topic.
started about a big old 300-pound balding,
Yeah,
Rocky Mountain oyster eater, and Tyson Fury. And next thing you know, we're talking about Shakur Stevens, a diminutive 135 guy who barely throws 40 punches in a fight. Yeah, that's a massive deviation.
well, that's
Now,
because
one
we were
thing I will
talking
say,
about
in
inactivity,
in case you
Oh yeah,
guys
that's
don't
right.
know,
Yeah.
in case you guys don't know what a Rocky Mountain oyster is, it is bull testes. Uh, Tyson Fury is a Rocky Mountain oyster eating balding fat man.
I thought he was a bison eating.
No, no, no. He's a bull ball uh, culinary treat eater kind of guy. No, that's really where that chemical was, right? Remember, he said that that kind of drug that he was on, that he got caught with, he got it because he bought bull testes from no, yes, bull testes or hog testes, one of those. He bought some testes to eat from a rancher. So I'm not too sure if you guys knew that. That's no story, but that's what he was trying to say. That was the source of that chemical, or performance enhancing product that he had in his organism. That he had bought wild boar. There you go, wild boar for the testes. So when you cook wild boar testes, they're called Rocky Mountain oysters, right? So that's what I was saying.
Mm.
Tyson Fury is a Rocky
Eh,
Mountain oyster eating balding fat man.
but I wanted to read that last comment by Pachuco.
Yeah.
Um, he says, "Yeah, man, it was awesome when Collazo took up Oscar on his word. I hope
Hmm.
Collazo gets the bonus." And
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I remember my uncle. He was telling me he was gonna fight 4 times a year, and he was like on his second fight, I think. And then he was forced to like take the whole year off because he got knocked out. And
Oh.
by like the commission like suspended him. Like, I remember seeing on his box rec, like it was like suspended is because like he has to take it was like
Recovery
46
time.
weeks. Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
hella weeks. It was months.
46 weeks.
Or yeah, because he not like yeah, it was like 40 or like something like that. It was like 2 years or
What?
no. Yeah, it was like less than a year, but it was like at least 6 months, bro.
Well, I think it also depends on the commission. Like if you're fighting for CSAC, which is the California State Athletic Commission,
Yeah.
then maybe perhaps in California you would be disallowed to fight after a knockdown for
Yeah.
X amount of weeks. But you can always
Mhm.
circumvent that and just go fight in another state. You
Yeah,
might go to Nevada and so
True.
forth and so on. So you can always get the
True.
smoke. And
you
in
go to
fact, it's always
Arizona.
typical. It's always typical that once you see a fighter, if you go check up on the box rec, if let's say that you missed it, and if that fighter lost, or even if he won, it'll say it's been suspended indefinitely because they have to give that fighter some time to coalesce and recover from an injury, especially um, if he's lost, right? But here's the thing, guys. This is where it gets very interesting. I'm not too sure if you guys knew this, but Oscar Collazo, he might actually have 5 fights in a year. How do we know this? Because apparently, Saturday when he fought, his last fight, he was able to crunch in 4 fights in exactly 52 weeks time. So he was just shy of fitting another one for that fifth in the span of a year. But now that somebody's willing to pay big money out there, I think he's going to try and crunch one in, especially being as skillful as it is. And it also does seem like some of the competition there might not be the heaviest. I mean, come on, guys. How many men out there in the world that are 5 foot nothing, weighing 108 pounds?
True. Facts. Um, so you were talking about the lighter weights right now?
Yeah. Oscar Collazo weighs in at a
Oh yeah,
less than
yeah, dude.
108.
Dude, tell me why in my mind right now I was thinking about what's that dude all tatted up? He's a veteran. And I think Luis, or I forget his name, is Goyazo or Luis.
Oh, the Puerto Rican, the other Puerto Rican.
Yeah, yeah, I'm tripping.
Yeah, what's his name?
He's
Man, he
bald.
was so cool, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
he's bald right now. But yeah, anyways,
Collazo. Oh, Collazo. What's his
yeah,
name?
yeah, I forget his name, but yeah, no, I'm not too familiar with the lighter weights, bro. Like I know some of the I heard of this guy when he got signed by Golden Boy, and I was like, damn, like I actually like got caught into like his career a little bit, and you know he has a big amateur career and shit like that, but his size is unique,
Luis Collazo.
and shit like that, you can become a world champion in a handful of fights. So yeah, no, he's a solid fighter. I wonder what his peak is. Like I think with a dude his size, I mean 115 maybe, you know, and he'll
Yeah,
be like solid and built at that weight, you
yeah.
know. him versus Bam Rodriguez, but in due time, not any time close, you know.
You're
But
talking
you
about
know,
Oscar Collazo.
yeah, Oscar Cortez, yeah.
You know what, Drew? I mean, Bam Rodriguez has potential. Like he really has potential to move up in weights. He can easily go up to 118. I'm not too
Oh
sure if you
yeah.
know this, but I believe that a fight between Juan Francisco Estrada, uh, that long laid off champion. Who was just not able to secure the third fight against Chocolatito. Both of those guys I haven't seen him fight in about a year and a half or so, maybe longer. He is supposed to be fighting Bam Bam Rodriguez. So that's an incredible fight right there. What do you guys think about that fight? I believe they're thinking of really penciling that in.
Really?
Yeah, no,
Hmm.
it's a real thing.
Wow.
Juan
Yeah,
Francisco
because that's.
Estrada.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, that sounds like a good fight right there. Wouldn't mind seeing it. Um, Honestly, bro, these lighter weights, bro, I'm just like I'm always fascinated because they're all fucking fast. You know, to me at least, you know, and they're all like quick and small and shit, and you know, it's entertaining, you know. But yeah, no, that's the same dude that fought Chocolatito, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yep, yep.
Okay, that's a great fight then. I like that. That was years ago, man. So when was his last fight? How's his
Jeez.
activity?
Wow, I don't know, homie Ricky. When was Juan Francisco Estrada's last fight? It's been a while.
Years, right? I think it's been
I don't
like a
even know
year,
when the
over a
last
year,
time he
bro.
fought.
Yeah, I think it's
It'll
been
be
over a year, to be honest.
2022.
Yeah, dude. So I hope we get the the same fight, the same type of fighter. But if that's the case, I mean, yeah, I don't know yeah, how that outcome's gonna be. But I mean, with those smaller guys, I mean, they come out fresh, man. Like they come out like nothing really happened to them. You know, like there's no real layoffs
Almost.
for those. There's no real layoff with the smaller guys because they're like near their weight all the time. You know.
True that, huh?
Yeah, they're near weight, so like I don't know. It's just something about they're able to like absorb shit faster, bro. Like I don't like honestly. Yeah, no, it's bro. Like honestly, they're like some of those guys. They should contemplate being a a jockey rider, bro, because you make so much money doing that. But you make so much money. Do you know how much they make? Sponsorships and all that. Like, bro, you make tens of millions, bro. But yeah, no, it's with that size, man, you can make a
If
lot
you
of money.
win.
Yeah.
Look,
No, no. If you're like in the derby, you're making money.
Oh, yeah, boy, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, obviously that's the
talking
top.
about Bam Rodriguez,
Yeah.
ever since he knocked out, well, I guess not knocked out, but TKO stoppage on Sonny Edwards. Like I've told you guys what happened. Where does Bam go from here? Who is the next champions in that division? Do you guys know?
Man, he ducked in a way for a reason, but um nah, I'm not sure if he ducked him. I'm lying. Um yeah, I'm not too familiar with this with these weight classes, man. I gotta do my research. I was kind of more familiar when Chocolatito was fighting that Vargas dude too, so or Estrada, I mean, and that Mongolian guy. I forget his name. Some crazy ass name, but yeah, that's really the only guys that I'm familiar with the in those weight classes. All I can think of is for Bam is to move up, bro, because he pretty much beat Sonny Edwards, which many thought was like his biggest challenge in the weight class, and it was the fight to make in the weight class. But I think he didn't.
Jeez.
There's still shit for him to go through. In 118. I think
No, I don't think he fights at 118. It's got to be like 112.
yeah, I'm tripping. Yeah, but he fluctuates so much. He's up and down in weight classes.
Who
Like
Yeah.
is this?
Bam doesn't like Bam goes up and down in weights, like
Yeah, he fought as low as 108 once. 112 is where he was teetering. Went up to 115, came back down to 112. And
yeah,
that's the other reason why it's very hard to follow these very
it is.
small,
You're
diminutive
right.
weight classes. There's there's some weight classes that are just separated by about 3 or 4 pounds. So
Right.
in quick succession. So yeah, there's going to be a bunch of people that were. So it's not necessarily that we're ignorant, or I would ever call anybody ignorant for not remembering what the difference is between weight classes such as straw weight and the next one up in line. I really don't know. Right, because there's so many weight classes just close to each other, but
Yeah. I'm
from
looking right
minimum
now.
weight to flyweight, straw weight, or and then here's the other thing, guys. There's 4 organizations. Not all of them use the same nomenclature. Like one might say atom weight, another one might say minimum weight, the other one would say straw weight, and so forth and so on. So it's just depending on uh, what weight class you're referring to and what sanctioning body you tend to favor the most, your
Yeah, cause
nomenclature, your parlance might just be varied compared to mine.
yeah. So,
Hold on,
Bam,
guys.
go ahead.
Bam Rodriguez,
I was gonna say that
he
right
beat
now.
Danny Edwards. He unified. So he has the IBF and the WBO belt. And then there's this Japanese fighter named Saigo Yuri Akui. And he just recently beat this guy named Artem Delakai on the 23rd of January. So this year. And he got the WBO, or sorry, the WBA Superfly. So I'm trying to do my research to see who the WBC champion is at this particular weight class. So there's a Japanese fighter who just fought, basically like 2 weekends ago,
Not
and
Ayala, is it?
and Saigo Yuri Akai. So Ayala, who's Ayala? He's
Andrew Ayala.
17-0. Angel Ayala Lardizabal. But he doesn't say that he has a WBC belt. I don't even know who has a WBC belt here.
Sergey
Are
has
you,
a
are you talking about
WBA
115, homie Ricky?
No, wherever Jesse Rodriguez campaigns, whether it's 115
flyweight.
or 112.
It's flyweight. I'm not sure exactly what weight class it is. I think it's 115.
Julio Cesar Martinez, who is I know who he is. Oh, he's the champion.
Mm,
Wow. And he's the WBC World Flyweight Champion, and he's rated number 13 in the world. For some
damn.
reason, this dude wants to continue fighting the McWilliam Arroyo kid. I think that fight has been
Wow,
scheduled and
still?
postponed
No,
like
no,
three,
no.
four
William
times.
McRoyo, McWilliam Royo,
The
he
Puerto Rican.
retired. He
I know.
retired.
But I'm saying that's who still has the belt, Julio Cesar Martinez. So maybe him
That
and
thing
Trump can
took
get it
two
on.
years.
Yeah.
That thing took like a year or something, just going back and forth. One guy retired, one guy came back. They started negotiating. It was one of the
So
most
what that
ridiculous, controversial, negotiations ever. It's ridiculous.
Bam don't have the WBC? Oh no, he has a IBF and WBO.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think it's maybe Roman fuck, what's his name?
Chocolatito Estrada. I mean,
No,
Roman Gonzalez.
yeah.
Nah, Roman
Chocolatito.
Gonzalez isn't a champ. He hasn't fought like in 2022 with
Oh
Gallo.
shit.
Yeah. Let me read a couple of these missives, if you guys don't mind. El Pachuco has been, coming up with some very good ones. Remember, he's the one who stated, "Forget about the heavyweight division, support the little guys." Bumper sticker. I told him I'd buy one. Uh, and yeah, exactly. Not all fights can be super fights. Um, Collazo taking up Oscar in his word would be a great thing, and he thinks that's an awesome concept. I agree with you, El Pachuco. I'm not too sure about this one. I do know that Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. I don't think that's up for debate. Ese vato no sabe perder. Yeah, that we're lucky we lived through those moments. I mean, whether you like him or not, you have to understand that he was probably the greatest quarterback consistently of all time. And yeah, I have nothing bad to say about that guy. And Pachuco continues and says, "The dude that hurt Thurman with the body shot. That's an amazing fight." And I believe the amazing fight that he's referring to is, of course, Jesse Bam Bam Rodriguez taking on Juan Francisco Estrada, which, of course, he continues
Damn.
to say that he would favor Bam over Gallo. So he would just like to see Bam go up and wait to face
Oh,
another challenge. Yeah, because
bro.
he does really seem so dominant.
Um, is it me or do these Japanese fighters dominate these weight classes?
They're dominating. Yeah,
Bro,
yeah,
this is insane. I'm
yeah.
like, what the I have never seen this much Japanese fighters, bro. Like this is insane. Like they're scattered all around like the teens pretty much, like 112s to 118s. Like you kind of stop seeing them at, 122. You start to see more of the Americans at 122, and the Puerto Ricans. But I mean, you still got your what's his name, Inoue's brother, still fighting at 122 as well. Um, but yeah, as far as Bam goes, because we're asking like who he should fight. The next guy up in the next or the weight class up from him is Junto Nakatani, but
Mhm.
he's that's ESPN right there. Um, so I'm not sure if that that's a
Nah, nah,
that.
Junto Nakatani, he's fighting one
Oh, that's right.
Mexicano that's gonna get me rich, man. Nah, he's joking. He's gonna be fighting Alejandro Santiago. I'm rooting for him, man. It's not gonna be easy, but
Santiago.
yeah, Santiago, I like him. He just beat
Hmm.
Nonito Donaire to become the WBC champion. He's gonna be
Oh,
unifying
that's
versus
him.
Junto Nakatani.
That's
Look, bro,
right.
it's gonna be a tough fight, but I got my fingers crossed. Me voy a persinar, and I think Santiago's gonna take it, man. I hope. I hope.
Wow. Wow. That's a good fight. Let me see the undercard, or you're not trying to get into the rabbit hole.
Nah, nah. We can
All
save
right.
that for a different night as the fight gets close. I think they're fighting this month actually, so it's
Yeah,
actually in the
24th.
really near future. I want to ask you guys, man, as we've been talking about all these things, and El Pachuco mentioned Andy Ruiz, so trying to get back and circulating back into the heavyweight division again.
Mm.
What is Andy doing? Have you guys been following like what he's been doing? Is he still going through litigation with his lady? Is he getting his bearings back intact? Or like what's up with him, man?
He's probably evaluating his decision to turning down fucking Wilder. You know, he's probably really
Mm.
just regretting that shit. And I'm always gonna root for the Mexican, bro. Like, I'm always
Why?
why not? I mean, I can
Why?
be
Just kidding.
because I can be tribal. I can be tribal as much as I want in this sport. Like I can go for the Mexican.
You're an
I can
American.
go. Yeah, I mean, or I can go for American. But
No, no, no. I
um,
mean, you're an American. You can do whatever the heck you want.
yeah. Well, I'm human. No, I'm just
America.
kidding. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. This is the last I heard about Andy Ruiz, right, Junior. Um, and the day of reckoning, I don't know if you guys recall this, but at the day of reckoning, Andy Ruiz Jr. Uh, was one of the commentators. He was just the person that they were giving. I wouldn't say necessarily color narration, but he was just the guy that the interviewers would come and ask him about, this fight and what he thought about this and this potential fighter, who he had this guy for the win, and they asked him about where he's at, like when is he returning, and he said, if I'm not mistaken, that he was talking to Turkey Ali Sheik. That Turkey Ali Sheik had been, approaching him also about getting some fights in. He didn't want to divulge too much, but that he's willing and ready to come back to the sport and take on anybody. So as far as who Andy Ruiz would take on, I'm uncertain right now, guys. But I know that he was asked about it on the Day of Reckoning. Maybe there's a video there somewhere, but he says that there's some talk about bringing him back. And Turkey Al Sheikh, if I'm not mistaken, he substantiated it. I think he said, "I want these fighters back. I would like to bring Andy." And Andy, lo and behold, was doing commentary on the Day of Reckoning. So hopefully he's, you know, to come back pretty soon, because the sport of boxing could do well by having these fighters, back into the sport. With different styles, different cultures that support them. I think the sport needs that kind of variety. The only thing I will say is this: the one thing that will make Andy Ruiz Jr. a notable name, so that people don't forget him. Besides, obviously, that incredible upset of the year, underdog of the year fight when he had with Anthony Joshua in the past decade or so. I would say the one thing that'll make him back, put him back in the name of people's mouths, is those funny pictures where he's all heavy top and very skinny legs. Have you guys seen those pictures?
Yeah, and he's wearing skinny jeans on.
Are those for reals? Hey, are those images for reals, homie Ricky? Does he really have those skinny legs?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just the angle of the camera as well, man.
Come on, show us a picture, man. Come on, just so
Nah, I don't give a fuck about no fashion shit like that, dude.
that has nothing to do with fashion. It's when he makes the weight. My wife was showing me,
Look, I'm
and
not gonna
she's
check
like,
out another dude wearing
"Oh,
skinny jeans.
oh my God, why are you making it seem like it's like that? It's just for a laugh. It really is for a laugh." Have
Yeah,
you seen? Do you know what I'm talking about, Drew?
yeah. Wait, is Drew back on here? It looked like he dropped off. Let me try to get him back on.
Yo,
Drew,
dude,
do
I
you
was
know what I'm talking
talking,
about?
bro. Did you guys? Were you guys, bro? I was talking for like 5 minutes right now. I was
No
talking.
way, dude.
I was
Hey,
talking
he
for
was
like.
saying he was revealing the name of God.
What
Oh
were
my,
you saying, bro? What were you saying?
damn, man. God. So you asked me, and I just dropped off, or what?
Yeah, no, yeah, I think so. Cause I was like, yo, wait, where'd Drew? Cause there was only, you know,
Damn. Damn. Okay.
what were
What
we
was your?
saying? What were we saying,
I
bro?
was showing
Cook,
the
cook.
I was showing the question, but or the answer, but what was your question again? I gotta revise it.
What is Andy?
Oh yeah, Andy Ruiz. Okay, okay. He's regretting. I said he was regretting. He's pretty much regretting his decision turning down the Wilder fight. And he's pretty much needs to reevaluate the way he's approaching his career because he needs to start taking fights that he wouldn't regularly take. As far as the payout, he needs
Yeah.
to start accepting these fights just to stay more active. And I think when he needs to do something where he kind of similar to when he was getting prepared for the. I was trying to remember that Mexican heavyweight's name, the Dark Destroyer. I forget, not the Dark Destroyer. I'm tripping. The other Mexican heavyweight from LA that he fought. He was gaining some good momentum for that fight, and he was losing some good weight. I'm not sure if that's a good way of approaching things as far as losing the weight, but as far as the social media, he needs to start pushing that shit again because I'm not seeing him post that much on social media. I kind of those type of things remind me who you are and that you're fighting. Because I'm on my timeline, I haven't heard nothing from him. So, I mean, even on YouTube and everything. So I think he gotta reevaluate those things. And pretty much start realizing his worth and start building up again and get the opportunities like he got them the first time around. Because he went out of his way and DM like Eddie Hearn and shit like that. So I think he got to find be opportunistic like he was the first time, and
So is it fair to assume that
regain it.
he's
Yeah,
semi-retired then?
it feels like it. It feels like it. He's not really talking that much. He was at the day of reckoning though, and he was there. So I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to tell with him. Is like, is he losing weight? He looks good in shape. He looks in good shape because, I mean, he's always looking the way he looks, and he's always gonna fight the way he looks.
Would
So
you guys still
hard to
be
tell.
interested in seeing Andy versus Deontay Wilder?
It's
Oh,
watered down a lot now, bro. That fight has watered down a lot. So I think they I'm not gonna they're not main event obviously, and they got to be on a really good card obviously, and they're not gonna just be there by themselves. And I'm not, like I'm not gonna pay no money for that. So nah, that's really watered down.
um, but
Bad timing on their end.
yeah, yeah, it's their fault. I mean, listen, when you say
It's
Deontay
Andy's
Wilder,
fault.
when you say
Yeah, Andy,
Deontay
Andy.
Wilder, you're gonna tell me you're not excited. When you say Andy Ruiz Jr., you're not gonna tell me you're not excited. No, you're never gonna see that. But in light of what's happened, the fact that Wilder put up the kind of performance that he did, the fact that Andy Ruiz Jr. has been absent from the sport for what, 2 years now, maybe closer to 2 years now, then it's really their fault that nobody finds that kind of energy to say yes, I still want to see them fight. Because any other day, you ask me that question, and I'll tell you absolutely, absolutely. But here's the thing, guys. I'm not saying that I would pay for that fight, but I would still like to watch it. Why? Because both of those fighters are equal, right? Both of those fighters are long laid off. Both of those fighters have gone through ups and downs in their careers. Because of that, they are basically equal,
I
right?
agree.
So that is still a heck of a fight.
I agree. I would say it would be a very interesting fight. I wouldn't like to see it on pay per view unless you're gonna give me like
Same.
Big Bang Zhang versus Philip Hergovig. If you're
Hmm.
gonna throw in, you know, a Joe Joyce under somebody, if you're gonna throw me Joseph Parker versus another top fighter, you know,
Dude,
I'm very excited for if you were to do something like that and sell it to me for $40.
exactly.
Exactly. And who does
Something
that,
something
guys?
like that, I would pay for that. But let me say this:
Ajit
I thought
Kabayel, Philip Hergovic.
I thought they set up Deontay Wilder to lose against Joseph Parker.
Oh
You know,
God,
much
here we
in a
go.
similar fashion, how they're setting up Keith Thurman to get destroyed against Tim Tszyu, right? Like,
No,
don't get me wrong,
God, here we
Keith
go.
Thurman. If Keith Thurman was active and he took the proper steps to move up to 154, not straight going for a title shot, I would give Keith Thurman a good chance to beat Tim Tszyu, right? But an inactive Thurman who's maybe fighting once every 2 years, I just don't see how you can beat. I mean, you have to show me that you can beat an older Pacquiao before I can say that you can beat a bigger
Bro,
fighter
I
in his
have
prime and an active one. You
I
see?
have I have a meme that's ready to go for
All
Thurman.
right, for
For
sure.
Thurman when he
Yeah,
wins.
you know, I would like to see Andy Ruiz and we know we shitted on Thurman the other day, but as for Andy and Wilder, they're both relatively inactive, and Andy needs to find that same Andy that was hungry and was dumped by Top Rank and fighting on PBC. He needs to just be active. The same guy that beat that Russian guy who was 6'5", you know, in the StubHub Center in Carson, California. The same one that took Anthony Joshua in a late month, you know, last minute replacement after Jarrell Miller popped dirty. That's the Andy that needs to get back in the ring. Just, bro, start fighting again. If
Yeah,
you care, because maybe he's still living off the Anthony Joshua paychecks and he's living comfortably. You know, maybe
yeah.
he doesn't really care
But you
about
know what?
the
Let me ask you. Let me ask you, homie Ricky. And actually, before that, let me just read a couple of things right quick. El Pachuco states that Andy is still training in So Gym. He looks good. Schlosker says that he has chicken legs, more like an ostrich. And that apparently Schlosker has a third leg. Oh, I'm sorry for that, my friend. I didn't know that you were born deformed like that. I really do apologize for that. But don't worry. There's medical advancements. And I think maybe there's some salvaging that right there. Pachuco states that Wilder needs to go back in the line after 3 consecutive losses. Absolutely, that guy shouldn't even be ranked top 10. No way at all. And I forgot. Oh, he forgot that he beat his sparring partner. And this is the most valid point that El Pachuco is really getting at when he says these things right here. Andy Ruiz has never been obliterated in a fight. Absolutely. Now, uh,
never.
never. No, it's true. He's never been obliterated, and
But he
and
did look like shit against Joshua in the rematch, though.
yeah, but that was Andy Ruiz really living it up, right? The what is that story that you once told, homie Ricky? The story of the poor man that gets money and he pilfers it and wastes it all because he's never had it. Sometimes you can get down with your storytelling. In one of our early lives, you went down, and I was like, man, yeah, I really have to become the co-host for this guy's show. But yeah, no, Andy Ruiz is still goods. But you just have to set him up with the proper
Yeah.
uh fight because he has had some tough fights, right? He
Hmm.
had that tough fight with Chris Ariota when he was
Chris
skinny.
Ariola.
Yeah, Chris Ariota.
That's what I was trying to
Skinny.
remember.
He was skinny Andy Ruiz at the moment, remember? And he fought Chris Ariola, that Mexican American or Chicano or American guy, whatever you want to call him, who has tattoos all over his body and is a scrappy guy. He ended up fighting that guy, and this was Chris Ariola had like a long layoff also, and Andy Ruiz has that was one of his first pay-per-view fights. It maybe sold 60,000 or whatever, and he didn't look too good, so then he became heavy set Andy Ruiz again, and then he ended up taking on Luis Ortiz and going pretty balls to the wall with that
That was
guy
a good
right there.
fight.
Very good fight. Yeah, very good fight.
Yeah.
He eked out the win, but it was very close and competitive. Just,
I
he kept getting the knockdowns.
I almost
Yeah.
forgot how entertaining like Andy Ruiz is, because like when he's in trouble, like he actually like goes balls out, and that's kind of
Yeah.
something I respect. When you're yelling at the TV, you're like, man, you got to go balls out now. He does that. He'll go balls out, and he'll fucking go for the fences when he's in trouble, and that's the part that makes him exciting, and that's probably what it's probably a reason why he doesn't get like obliterated. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Andy, bro, man. I think he would be one of the fighters that could beat Alexander Usyk had he been very active, man.
Yeah, that would have been a good fight.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
But he
because
likes the summers. He
true.
likes the summers.
Yeah,
So,
man. It's one of those fighters where when it's all said and done, that Andy would have missed a really opportunity to really cement himself as the best heavyweight in this era. That's crazy.
Nah.
Crazy. No,
nah,
no,
not
no.
that.
Because had he, let's say, continued
Never
to
that.
train, and let's say he beat Joshua in the rematch, right? More than likely, Wilder's calling out for a unification to become undisputed. Maybe Tyson Fury, bro, like Andy Ruiz, like one of those what if scenarios, he would have done some crazy.
Like Andy deserves his own like weight class, bro, because he's like, because he's for Fury to fight an Andy Ruiz, bro, like, bro, there's fucking super middleweights that are better equipped to fucking jab Fury with their length, like he's so short, bro, like 6'2" or something like that compared to 6'9". Like you gotta put them in different weight classes almost, but
Hey, I'm six
uh
nine.
yeah, yeah, 6'9" versus what was that?
I'm a snitch with tats on my face or what? No, no, no. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
Just I'm having too much fun, guys.
yeah, no, it's a little different, and I just think Andy's hunger went away like, when he doesn't really like go that hard anymore. I mean, I just feel like he's just getting fed now. I mean, I hope he's brought that hunger back, and actually able to come back to some kind of some of the old Andy that we've seen. So it's only been one fight really. He's been hella inactive, and
Hmm.
yeah, no, he needs to just easily prove himself by just staying active. Like, take the lowest risk, and just show your face. And that's just what we want to see, highlights. Like the fact that Ben Whitaker is able to make highlights. At first, I was I was like, who is this guy? Like this guy, his opponent sucks. Like he's doing nothing. Like he's whatever. But I realized what he was doing. He gained so many. He made so much more money just by gaining $100,000, 100,000 followers, pretty much more notoriety now, like just by a couple highlights. So it's stuff like that, man. Just be
Well,
be open to fight, and just you stay active, bro. I mean, doesn't mean you need to make highlights. I'm not trying to say that, but I mean, just show your face, man.
Yeah,
Show your face.
I wanna press homie Ricky on something that he
Oof.
stated like 5 minutes, Drew.
Uh-oh.
I need him
I'm
to
gonna
expound.
mute myself.
Oh, okay. I
I'm just
want you
kidding.
to expound. Come on, don't mess around with me, man. I'm having too much fun right now. Um, you said, homie Ricky, that they, you said they were trying to set up Deontay Wilder. Can
yeah.
you elaborate on who they is and why would they want to set up Deontay Wilder up?
What do you mean? Why they would set up? Why
Yeah, who
would
is they
they want
first
to
off?
set up
Who
Deontay?
is they?
Frank
Who
Warren,
is they? And why
Frank
would they want to
Warren
set up
and
Deontay
company.
Wilder?
Frank Warren and company.
Mm,
Okay, they want to set up and to make Joseph Parker a big name, right? Like, why not? And to be honest with you, Deontay Wilder signed off on the contract, but it's not like he didn't try to sign and get Andy to get this fight. Andy just overpriced himself, and then when somebody opens up a door, Wilder is not one to back away from a fucking fight. He's like, "Is that the fight that you guys are offering me? Is just nothing, anything easier?" And they're like, "This is all you get." And he was like, oh, I'll take that fight. I'm gonna go take my talents over there to Turkey Ali Sheik for a paycheck, and then boom, he realized that it wasn't easy fighting Joseph Parker. There's a reason why he hasn't really been, he went 12 rounds with Joshua. There's a reason why he went the distance versus Andy Ruiz. Dude's a pretty good opponent, you know. So that's exactly what happened in that situation. Now, I
Do
was
you
saying,
know who Deontay Wilder's promoter is?
I don't even think he has a promoter.
You're
It's
right.
Don King.
Nope.
So,
You're
so
right.
that's why he would, I mean,
He's an
Wilder.
independent contractor. He's
So
a free agent.
that's what that is in that situation. Same thing with Keith Thurman. Like, who's setting you up, Thurman, for Tim Sue? You're just gonna you're probably gonna get dropped with a nasty ass gut shot or an uppercut.
See, that's what I'm trying to say, homie Ricky. In the case of Keith, one time Thurman fighting Timmy, and I like to call him Timmy because he's he's cool. He's like he's like a little brother. Like I see that guy and I'm like, you know what, I like that kid, right?
Let me ask you this.
Timmy Sue, he is definitely being set up because guess what? Both of those guys are moving for the same promotion, right? The promotion can take measures to protect Keith Thurman in his career should they want to, because they're basically promoting both fighters for the most part. I mean, Tim Sue, of course, he has his promotion company from the land down under or otherwise, but when it comes to the northern hemisphere, he is being promoted by the PBC. So that is definitely a setup because they could move these guys away and have them fight other fighters from other promotions that don't necessarily risk them to any kind of peril or harm or loss. But in the case of Deontay Wilder, nobody set him up. He believed in himself. He signed on the dotted line. And of course, if Frank Warren is setting up Joseph Parker for a victory so that he can get some money and an opportunity so that Parker climbs up the ranks, that's his job. That's not a setup. That's Frank Warren's job, right? So here's the other thing. Let's please not say that anybody's set up, especially. Let's eliminate and separate Turkey Ali Sheik from this conversation of a setup because as soon as Deontay Wilder lost, like within the week, he was saying, I still want that guy to come back, right? It's up to Deontay Wilder to live the fighter's lifestyle
Did
and
I'm
then
sorry.
make himself a competitor.
Hold
I
on. So
got.
let me ask you this.
Mhm.
It's as if they called Andy Ruiz and asked Andy, look, Andy, the only fight that we have for you right now on the table is Big Bang Zane. Take it or leave it.
I don't think that's what happened though.
How do you know?
Because that would be the case. They would say
I
it.
just told you that Andy overpriced himself and all these other fighters didn't want that Wilder fight. And then all they asked was like, well, I got Joseph Parker. You want to take that fight or not? If
No,
they
no, no.
asked Andy Ruiz to fight Joseph Parker, Andy Ruiz to fight Big Bang Zhang or Philip Hergovic, do you think they're not setting up Andy, who is a name and comes with a following? You don't think they're setting him up for failure?
I don't know, but I know that what
Oh yeah.
the setup
It's a
to
simple
set up a
question.
fight to set up a fight, homie Ricky, is not necessarily to set up a fighter, right? All you're doing is basically saying, "This is who I have. Take it, and if not, we can work on another thing." I don't think anybody ever gave Deontay Wilder an ultimatum. The only ultimatum is, "I have $10 million. Do you want to fight Joseph Parker for it?" And he looks at the guys and he goes, "Man, I fought in the bombastic, overly confident Wilder, who's always had this, great belief in himself about believe it, achieve it, and all that stuff." He probably thinks Joseph Parker, really? That's who I'm supposed to fight for $10 million? Absolutely. Who is Joseph Parker? This is
A
just
guy
the
who's,
arrogance of the Americans, right?
but it's
Here's
a
the
guy
thing.
who's 4 fights active in the past 12 months.
A guy
Check
who
this
beat
out.
Andy Ruiz
Check this out.
I don't know
The
about that one, but
Well, no, actually, no. See,
technically
see,
did beat
that's
him
what I'm
though.
trying to say. That's what I'm trying to get at, Drew. You're absolutely right. If anybody knows, Andy Ruiz fought Joseph Parker, and it was a very good fight. I think Joseph Parker. I mean, he lost that fight, right, homie Ricky?
I mean, I thought Andy won. I thought it was close, but I felt like Andy probably had to do a little more because he isn't fighting Joseph Parker in his hometown.
Hmm.
So I just felt like he had to do a little more. I didn't think Joseph won, but it is what it is.
But do you think? Look, a lot of these boxers, guys, they don't necessarily follow the sport and know who their competitors are. Like for example, I'm not trying to say that Deontay Wilder is ignorant, but here's the thing: that boxer that was sparring um, uh, Tyson Fury, they were interviewing him at that IFL interview. I think it was IFL, and they asked him who he was sparring with, and he says, "Oh, but I've been a sparring partner for Anthony Joshua. I've been a sparring partner for obviously Tyson Fury because he's a southpaw. He's a quick southpaw, and he said who was out there that you were sparring with, and he basically mentioned one of the fighters that he was sparring with, and he said that guy was preparing himself to fight he said the Chinese guy. He was referring to Zile Zhang. He called him the Chinese guy. And now I want you to think about that, right? He addresses Zile Zhang, a guy who, put the stump in on Joe Joyce, who everybody called Juggernaut, who people actually thought that he could walk through all the punches of all the heavyweights, come back, and he was just going to take all these punches without any repercussion and just beat everybody. This is who Zile Zhang beat, right? And he called him the Chinese guy. He didn't even know his name.
Maybe
Now,
he doesn't know how to pronounce Zile Zhang. It's like a complicated
but
ass name.
no, he speaks pretty good English. So what I'm saying is, some of these fighters don't necessarily follow everybody's career.
Yo,
A lot of
Dimitri
them are
Bivol
necessarily
calls
just focused on
Canelo
their own
Canela.
world. You know what I'm saying? So
Dimitri
I don't.
Bivol calls Canelo Canela.
Yeah, but obviously that's sort of like a subliminal. He knows what he's doing. He's not an ignorant.
Supposedly, that's how you say Canela. That's how you say Canelo in Russia. Canela.
Oh yeah, really? Yeah, you think the word canelo exists in Russian? You think
Hell
that's
no.
actually the word that they use for cinnamon? No, man. He's calling them he's calling them a girl. That's just plain
I'm
as
pretty
day.
sure. I'm pretty sure there's some restaurant in Russia that has cinnamon,
Mother Russia.
and they gotta say, "Can I have whatever cinnamon means in Russia?" You
Yeah,
know.
but you think but like, here's the thing, Drew. Do you think he cannot roll his O's? You don't think he can say canelo? Why is he the
Who?
only guy that says canela?
Who?
Dimitri
Dimitri Bivol.
Bivol.
Nah, he's not the only one. I've heard other Russian fighters kind of say it like that. Khabib said like Canelo, and he kind of says it that way too. It's just that's just like I don't know. It's just how they enunciate. Hey, I got some news though on the subject.
Yeah.
Um, did you guys know Usyk missed the birth of his daughter
Yeah.
for this
Ooh.
training camp?
Yep.
Crazy shit, huh? I just seen that
He's
right now.
upset.
Well, not as
Igis
upset as the
Klimas,
promoter though, but yeah, I'd be pissed, bro.
that's why Igis Klimas, the guy who manages or works with Alexander Usyk closely, he said your bitch hit you with a frying pan. He said that about Usyk. I mean
Mm,
about Fury. He was so upset. He called him a coward, and he called Tyson Fury's wife a B word.
mm.
And now,
Wow.
yeah, yeah, and that's when Tyson Fury got very upset, irate, and he had Turkey Al Sheik next to him, and then he just barged out. He says, "Nobody calls me a coward." Yeah, and he's a master at words, and he went off, and he said what he said, and
Mhm.
he walked
So,
out.
so he missed the birth of his second child, but he's also missing the war and defending his country.
Too, yeah, because he got accepted to actually, or something like that, right? Like he
So,
got granted
so,
permission.
so what I'm trying to say is this, right? That's Usyk's wrongdoing. He can bring his family and his wife over to California or wherever it is that he's training at and living at. There's this whole thing, this tradition in boxing that no women and kids at the gym during sparring sessions because it distracts the fighter. There's also the old thing where like, oh, you're not supposed to have sex because it weakens your legs. Canelo
Hey,
has his kids and his
hey,
wife in the
trust me,
team.
guys. Trust
You
me, guys.
know,
It's true.
Bud Crawford, says, dude, I have sex all the time, even up to the day after before the fight.
Unless you're
So,
draining
you
yourself
know,
every night. But
if that's the sacrifice or the discipline that Usyk has to adhere to, to get fully focused, then that's just part of the game.
if you're
Injuries are
burning,
part of the game. So I think when Igis Klimas said that, it's a little bit of an overreaction, especially when he's trying to involves his wife. I'm like, damn, bro,
yeah,
relax.
true,
From
true.
what,
Yeah,
from what I've seen, at least from what I've seen from Paris Fury, she seems like she's got a good head on her shoulders. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I
He
don't,
didn't
I,
need to attack the wife.
yeah,
no, I don't
like
want to be vulgar,
I can
guys.
do everything else, but I don't know about that one. But
I don't want to be vulgar, but let me ask you something. If you guys, well, I know you guys have been boxers, but do you guys, like, go and spar, right? Work out, spar, and then you meet up with your beloved, and then they just give you something essential, like, fellatio. Can you go to the next day? Can you go the next day and spar or not?
yeah, of
Oh man.
course.
Okay, there you go.
Well,
What's this? All
not
this?
unless, but not unless,
Listen.
not
Not
unless you
unless it's
burn.
that
Hold
that
on,
good,
not
good or what?
unless, not unless, not unless I burned like 200 calories that night. You know.
I would
Make
rather
it up by
fight.
eating a burger, buddy.
Check this out. I would rather fight after that amazing experience than on an empty fucking stomach for days.
True.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah. No,
saying?
it's all
Like
about
that,
what you
that's
eat.
not. You're not gonna be significantly that much weaker. And people say, well, you lose some, deficiency. You lose potassium. Just eat a banana. Do 5 lunges before you get in there, and I'll guarantee you're gonna feel strong again. It's the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard, dude. It's like, nah, dude, they're full of it, man. But
Yeah.
You ain't doing it right.
it
No, I'm
sucks
just kidding.
for Alexander Usyk, but again, he could have had his wife and been there in the hospital. It's not
True.
that
True.
serious. It's really not that serious. You can have them in that situation. Igis Klimas, look, everybody's frustrated in that fight. Everybody. Okay. I'm telling you, I probably, if I'm Tyson Fury, I'm be like, the doc says it needs at least a minimum of 2 to 3 months to basically fully recover from this elbow to my eye. I don't think May is enough time for it. If that's like, I need that. If that's it, if I'm Fury, I'm like, fuck, dude. I already postponed on you guys once. Anything that I say or do is not going to change the fact of this unfortunate circumstance, whether you believe me or not. Let's fight in September. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, because if that's what the report says, let me try to pull it up again. Oh, I think I might have closed that tab. But if the doctor in the medical reports, if Turkey Ali Sheikh has his hands, he's basically upset, putting the royal to Tyson Fury and be like, hey, you want this money? Take it or leave it, because I'm not going to recant on this fight date. I got people, I got, expectations. I got to live up to my standard, and boom, it is what it is. That's going to
Mhm.
be, it's unfortunate in terms of events, but look, man, we've been going on for a little bit. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk
Yeah.
about this topic?
I just want to address two different things now, to wrap up this whole thing about Tyson Fury, right? Um, Frank Warren, uh, he's Tyson Fury's promoter, right? And in essence, he was most recently interviewed, and one of the big things, and he was basically saying that if he thought that Tyson Fury was to lose against Usyk, if he really thought that he would lose to Usyk, he really wouldn't allow him to fight. Is what he says, right? And I was just thinking, I don't know what you guys think about this, right? Because this is what Tyson Fury told this YouTube channel called Segment South. Um, when asked about that fight, he goes, "No, no, I'm a big believer in him," referring to Fury. "I think he's the best heavyweight out there. I know obviously people feel that there are some question marks after the last fight against Ngannou. For me, he had an off night that he won. He had an off night that he won in the fight. I've seen fighters have off nights and get beat. He won the fight. We will see. And he continues and he says, you got to look at Usyk as well. Usyk against Dubois. Now, Dubois has shown that Usyk can be hurt and that he's a little vulnerable to the body. Tyson Fury will exploit that or go a different way of going about it to win the fight. I don't know. I fancy him winning, though. I fancy him winning big time, Tyson. I'm not going to bet against him. And this is what he ends by saying 2 seconds out. He says, if I thought that he would lose the fight, I would try and talk him out of having that fight. Now, in light of Tyson Fury not ever having fought and the Anthony Joshua, in light of him having ducked his mandatory Dylan White for almost 3 years, in light of he basically running it back with Wilder for like 3 consecutive years, maybe four, and in light that he has not fought Usyk and he actually got cut and he's expanding this fight for another 3 more months, do you guys believe when Frank Warren says that if he didn't believe that Tyson Fury would win, he wouldn't allow him to fight? Do you guys think that has anything to do with the fights that have not taken place? That Frank Warren has protected Tyson Fury in his career when he's thought that he would lose?
I don't think he's ever. Sorry. I don't think he's ever. I don't think he's. I don't think he's ever not confident in Fury, bro. I think it's just more of a timing thing with Fury because obviously he gets out of shape, bro, and well, he gets out of shape, bro, and he needs to have time. He needs time to actually get in shape properly, and obviously time doesn't mean anything. It does mean something, but it depends also who he's fighting because clearly there's a
Mhm.
difference between when he was getting ready to fight Usyk and when he
Mhm.
was getting ready to fight Ngannou. There's two different shapes,
Oh
and
yeah.
you could tell Fury took Ngannou lightly. He took him lightly, and he didn't think Ngannou was gonna make the whole 12. Um, Ngannou still looked bad, but yeah, no, he was way better shape for this fight, bro. And for Tyson Fury to waste all that energy just for him to get a cut over his eye, it's kind of hard to believe, whatever, that he did that shit on purpose. But um, yeah, no, I think Fury or Warren, his promoter, doesn't have nothing to like worry about really. It's just a timing thing for Fury because he puts in the time obviously, and I think the more time you give him, and obviously now I see it, like maybe he can do shit on purpose, but I mean, it is what it is at this point, man. I think he's got the time. It's just the cut that worries me. I think
Yeah.
at this point, I think I mentioned it months ago. Um, when we first started this podcast, I said, because I do remember now. Look, Tyson Fury has that cut over his eye, and that's what worries me. Really, it's that cut,
Mhm.
and that's enough to really stop a fight, regardless of how you look. If it's stopping, if they're like, if it's stopping your vision, or like if it's blocking your vision, then they're gonna stop that shit. Um, and that's gonna be that's a big alarm right there because Usyk is small, and I can see Fury kind of trying to lean towards him, but he's gonna like do a matador move type of thing, and just kind of fake him out and make him actually fall to the ground type of thing like that. You know, just because he's so small, he's such a small target to lean on. So maybe it'll be hard to do that lean and weigh in on your opponent. But that's what worries me. But before that, bro, it wasn't really too much of an issue. Now
Concern.
yeah, concern. Now that there's lights being shined on that issue. It's kind of like, okay, that's an issue. But before any of this happened, I don't think Frank I think Frank thinks that he's one of the best of all time. You
Yeah,
know,
but
he
it's
doesn't
just
wait.
funny.
That's a
No,
very
I
good
agree
point.
with you. I agree with you. I really do think Mr. Frank Warren, and you have to believe it. You have to believe that if Frank Warren invests the biggest money in this fighter, you know that he hired him. He saw some potential, and he now sees what he's capable of doing. But I just find it very curious. I find it very telling that he would admit that if he didn't think that Fury could beat Usyk, that he would try to talk him out of taking that fight. I mean, why would he? Why would he try and talk out any of his fighters of taking a fight? Unless he doesn't think that they're winners. Why would he talk him out of the most important fight for his career and probably the most handsomely paid for his career just because of a simple loss? And then you have to think about the fact that the fights that have not happened is that Frank Warren having guided Tyson Fury away from those fights under the impression that he personally believed his fighter would lose. And I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard anybody admit to that. Like, for example, I don't think Mr. Bob Arum would ever say anything about uh, Oscar De La Hoya or Shakur Stevens or any of those fighters that he really believes deeply in. I don't think he would say, "Oh, I'm not gonna try and set him in there because you know I don't think he would win." No, I would think he's always gonna say, "No, my fighter is good. My fighter is best. I'll put him up against anybody." I don't think
Yeah,
any
it's a very odd statement for sure.
right. I think so too. I agree with you, homie Ricky. I'm just thinking, has Frank Warren protected Fury in his career, and that's why we haven't seen some particular fights.
You know who doesn't need no protecting?
Hmm.
The Big Bang Zang.
Look,
All he needs
relax,
is some
guys.
chow
Look,
mein, right?
Big Bang
Yeah.
Zane, he's badass, bro. He's a fighter with a lot of momentum,
I had a
but
prediction
you know
about
that's
him.
he's only beating Joe Joyce, okay? And Joe Joyce is not like he's
I
that
gotta know.
amazing. You
Can
know,
I
Joe
say an
Joyce is
overreaction?
very
Yeah,
patient
give us your prediction.
An
between which
overreaction.
fight.
An overreaction. I think he's gonna be the next. I think he's gonna be the biggest, the best heavyweight in the world. He's gonna be the
He's 40
number
years
one.
old.
I think he's gonna have at least one full year of of him being at number one. I don't know how many years, but I think he's gonna end up being getting all the belts. Like if he gets the opportunity, but I do see him defending the belt multiple times and giving everyone a hard time, bro.
Look,
I just feel that way. I just
he's a good fighter, right? He's a good fighter, but
Chinese don't age, bro.
he hasn't beaten one champion.
I think that only applies to the women, Drew.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
He hasn't beaten a champion. How do you think that he would look against Anthony Joshua?
I think he beats him. I'll put money on that.
I would love to see that.
I don't think he never got enough rounds with him to end the fight. He only fought him in 3 rounds
Yeah,
each. You know,
yeah.
I don't think AJ's ready for the 5th through 12th round, you know, or 4th through 12th round, I mean, you know, so I'm telling you, bro, I think Zhang is the goods, bro. There's only so many crazy things you can do at that size. And I think punch placement is what Zhang got, bro. And I think he's just the goods, bro. I think he bro, he knocks out fucking farm animals, bro.
Okay, check this out. Check this out.
Well,
We're
bam.
gonna find out how good Zhilei Zhang is because if I'm not mistaken, he's going to be fighting Joseph Parker on March.
Mm.
Wow.
Okay, so until then, we'll speak because Joe Joyce, he's a juggernaut, man. The dude is good, right? And Joe Joyce did beat Joseph Parker, so let's give him a little bit of credit. If he can beat Joe Joyce, he can beat Joseph Parker, right? Because if I'm not mistaken, Joe Joyce knocked out Joseph Parker on the 11th round on a very good fight. So we all know that Big Bang Zhang, he's got a punch. He's
Mhm.
amazing. He's got good punch placement. At 40 years old, dude's amazing. His only loss is to Philip Hergovic. And if you watch that fight,
He
Zhilei
won.
Zhang should have won that fucking fight.
He should have.
Um, but it's not. But again, I don't think much of Filip Hrgovic. I don't think he's that good of a fighter. In fact, I think he's extremely dirty and likes to hit
Mm,
people behind the head. I
he
never
does.
really rated Joe Joyce. Joseph Parker, I mean, not to like shit all over his performance against Deontay Wilder, but I've always said it before. Deontay is not that good, man. Okay, he's
True.
not that good. And I'm not trying to, or in retrospect, I've always said the heavyweight division isn't really that talented. And that's why Cruiserweight and Alexander Usyk can pretty much come in here and knock all these guys out or beat them
Mm,
convincingly because as big as these dudes are, they're not really having to sacrifice like the smaller men. And Usyk
mm,
has had to not just resort on size and strength, but actually boxing skill. And we
right.
know a lot of these fighters in the heavyweight division don't have that good of a skill. Deontay Wilder doesn't really have a body punches or a jab or good footwork. Anthony Joshua, for a long ass time, was very basic and rudimentary until he got with Robert Garcia, right?
Yeah, but
Tyson
you know,
Fury has always ballooned up in weight and has been very unprofessional and doesn't really adhere and fight his mandatories.
yeah,
So again, it's
but
been
the thing is that's a very interesting point that you're bringing up, homie
hold
Ricky.
on with
But
Zile Zhang. Like I'm not gonna put Joe Joyce up in this pedestal because again, who really has Joe Joyce really beaten? Oh, he's beaten Daniel Dubois and made him quit and gave him the UKI. He's beaten what a 42-year-old and Carlos Takam and then Joseph Parker. Like I don't know, man. I'm not trying to shit all over them, but like I like Zidane Zane, but it's not like
well, those are the
a
B-side
baby
players.
fighter who's 25 years old. No, this guy is a really good fighter, but he's 40 years old.
Yeah. So here's the thing about that, homie Ricky. There hasn't been many fighters like uh like Alexander Usyk, right? And the thing is with the heavyweights, you don't necessarily look at the skill set because at any given Friday or Saturday, any of those guys, regardless of their skill set, just just landing one punch is enough to seal the deal.
Mhm.
If you're a heavyweight and you have skills, and you have that punch to seal the deal because you're already heavyweight, then that fares much better for you. But in the case of Alexander Usyk, mind you, he started his career not as a heavyweight. Most people that are heavyweights, they are heavyweights, or they're really like around the cruiserweights, just a few pounds shy of being officially a heavyweight. It's because of their physique. It's because of their mass. They really don't start off being small guys climbing up in weight. So the bigger you are, the less mobility you have, the more clumsier you are because you don't have that kind of dexterity, the flexibility, that mobility, that ambulation, and the hand-eye coordination that you're gonna need, like in the lower weight classes, just because of the limitations that your physique
Telling you,
imposes
bro.
on you. So
China.
when Alexander Usyk, he didn't start that way. He started off as a little guy. He started off in the Olympics as a 165 pounder,
That's
right?
not a little guy. A little
If
guy is Oscar Collazo at
no, no, no,
180.
no, no. 165 pounder compared to a 235
Smaller.
pounder
You're saying
is a
smaller.
way different thing. You know this, Ricky. So he climbs up in weight as a smaller guy, and this is the one thing that Pachuco was really stressing with the past few lives: acclimation to weight class. El Pachuco does not accredit. Uh, Terence Crawford as having any shot against Saul Santos Alvarez Barragan El Canelo because the lack of acclimation. But when done right, your acclimation could bring you up into weight classes capably. That is Alexander Usyk. Because he started off smaller and he had that kind of mobility and the athleticism that can only come about by being a small individual, you climb up in weight and you attain those skills. You continue to hold on to those skills so that when you reach a weight class like a heavyweight, because Alexander Usyk is really fighting like at 230, 220 or something, he's already carrying those skills from when he was a smaller fighter that the bigger guys never had to rely on, never had to train on because they've always been set at that weight class, you see. So I just wanted to tell you, when you compare somebody to Alexander Usyk, he really is an anomaly. He's an aberration in the sport of boxing. You won't see many people like that, because you won't see little guys climb from 160 to heavyweight ever.
You forgot Roy Jones Jr. You forgot James Toney.
Damn.
But again, those are what, two guys. In the case of Roy Jones
What,
Jr.,
what
he
about
really
Canelo?
only
What about
fought the
Canelo
weakest
Alvarez?
link, and then he came back down. Remember that.
Yeah, so John Ruiz, who cares? But what about Canelo Alvarez starting at 140, 147,
Look,
154, all the way to
Those
can
are
Canelo
anomalies.
can Canelo Alvarez beat Babic?
What about Mikey Garcia being at 126 and then fighting Errol Spence at 147?
And look what happened to him.
He also beat Jesse Vargas
He didn't acclimate.
at
That's what
147.
I'm saying. He
knocked
didn't
out
acclimate.
Well, he dropped Jesse and beat Jesse Vargas.
Fantony Joshua Schlosser says Fantony Joshua reminds meat of fluffier. I don't know what's going on with that guy, man. Anyways, look, before
Way to
we
save
end
yourself.
this live, I just want to say one last thing, guys, and I do say with fondness and respect. John Ryder, a former two-time titleist, interim titleist, he never actually got the belt. At 35 years of age, after having lost two successive fights, one to Saul Santos Alvarez Barragan in Guadalajara, Mexico, and then he fights on Jaime Munguia in Phoenix, Arizona. He has officially declared his retirement from the sport, and he states the following: "It is with a heavy heart that I have come to the decision to hang up my gloves and retire from professional boxing. I've been absolutely blessed to have the most amazing career over the past 14 years, starting in Bethnal Green in 2010 and ending in Phoenix, Arizona. I've been lucky enough to box everywhere from the O2 Arena, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Alexandra Palace, Manchester Arena, to Guadalajara in Mexico. For a boy from Islington, it's been some run." And when these fighters like this gentleman, right, who's always willing to step up to anybody, who has some ups and downs, and they're capable of being honest with themselves and of the fans and saying, "I'm calling it a date if I don't win this one," they basically show the respect that other fighters don't when they feign retirement. John Ryder has gone through the ups and downs and put on a career of about 10 or so years, 20 maybe, 20 or longer than that, right? At 35 years of age. And when he says he's retiring, I believe him. Then there's people like Shakur Stevens, Teofimo Lopez, that when they say they retire, you can smell the crap away, a mile away. John Ryder, we respect you. We wish you the best in your endeavors, and I know that one of his endeavors is to be a trainer, a coach. I believe he will be successful in that. But I just wanted to say my respects. That's him right there,
Yeah,
John
absolutely,
Ryder.
man. I like John Ryder. He's always a tough, gritty fighter. Pretty much said he was never gonna price himself out. He fought really good fighters that amounted to obviously pretty good things, and he got rewarded with a Canelo fight after beating Danny Jacobs and I don't know, maybe another fighter in between. But yeah, man, salute to John Ryder, bro. One good of a career. Don't know if you'll be a Hall of Famer, but you definitely made your place as a tough fighter, and a lot of boxing fans gave you a lot of respect. So hopefully, he doesn't get, he falls into the trap of like, what do I do next? I think his career or his other career is going to barely begin. It's going to be really interesting to see how he fares off well with his aspirations to become a trainer. But that heart, that discipline, that reluctancy to quit, right, against Canelo Alvarez, that might stand the test of time up there with like the Gabe Rosados of the world.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to say with John Ryder, when he beat Danny Jacobs, was he a champion at that time or no?
No.
Okay, was that fight at 160 or 168?
I think it was always at 160, homie Ricky.
Okay. Yeah, man. Either way, man, he still gave Callum Smith a good run for his money as a, replacement. I thought he beat Callum Smith. Should have been a
Yeah.
champion right then and there,
Yep.
but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Salute to you, John Ryder, bro, and thank you for the memories, man. And hopefully,
Sir.
you know, I thought he would he'd be a little more competitive against Jaime Munguia, but regardless, hell of a career, bro. On that
Yeah.
note, guys, have a good night, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Good night, everybody.